everybody, it's Evie and Lucy here with Mushroomoasis. I've been dying to show Lucy this game for ages now. I'm actually familiar with it, but she isn't, so I'm excited to share my obsession with her.
Gotta live up to the expectations from all the things you said to me. I'm so excited.
Yep, we're gonna add another character for you to love. I hope so anyway, because I love this character. But I'm gonna shut up now and just get into it. Let's start. Boofus is our name, as it always shall be. Also, how cute are all these mushrooms?
I really like the cursor. It's so cute. Oh, we have a cat.
Yeah, I didn't tell you that. See, I didn't spoil anything. What do we name our cat? What would Boofus's kitty name be? What's a cute cat name? We both have cats and we can't come up with a name.
Boopers?
Should we name it Boop?
Ah,
Helping you boop
yes.
the nose. Alright, Boop's our kitty name. And your cat is... well, I have both and you have a girl. So...
Yeah.
Oh, I know what I'll do. I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to go really quick between them and you just say stop. And then whatever we stop on, we click, okay?
Okay,
Okay, I'm closing my eyes. I'm closing my eyes.
stop.
It's a boy!
Mail.
Okay. Boop has been missing for a while now. He was an indoor cat, but had the tenacity of a wild cat on a mission trying to leave whenever the door was open. Catios and playtime just wasn't enough for the little mister. I figured he'd come running if I left out some food by the porch. 3 days later, still no cat. I've tried everything I could think of. Asking around the neighborhood, putting up missing cat posters. Sadly, nothing came from my efforts. I couldn't search for him during the day since I had work keeping me occupied. And there's only so many hours in an evening I could yell around the streets looking for him. Side note, if either of my cats ever went missing, I'm not going to work in that time.
I'm not
Like,
going to work.
I would be a mess. I'm going on a short tangent. I was at work once, working from home, and we couldn't find Fizzy. We couldn't find him at all. And I would panic so hard that I basically told work I need a moment and I ripped up the entire apartment. And he ended up being on a little shelf that he never was in before, staring at me, watching me cry, like literally sobbing, like, where did he go? And he's just staring at me. And I'm like, how could you do this to me?
Uh,
That's
as
just
soon as
cats for
she
you.
read, like, oh, I was going to work. And I'm like, no, there's no work. You just find your cat.
There's no work. There's only finding cat. There was only one place left I could think of that he might have ran off to. The woods by my house, right across the street. I've definitely caught him eyeing the birds and squirrels that ran alongside the perimeters from the front window, his teeth clicking in excitement. I was no outdoorsy person by any means. In fact, the thought of going in there scares me. But I had to find him, or at least try. The first weekend that came around, I packed up some water, Boop's favorite treats, and a compass to be safe. I wasn't sure where to even begin looking for him, so I started walking in a straight line, calling out his name every few steps. It certainly didn't take long for me to realize I was way in over my head. Why did I think this was a good idea? It was hard to find my bearings within the surrounding trees. I didn't want to admit I was lost, at least not yet. I could only squint down at my compass as the needle spun slowly. Pretty sure they weren't meant to do that. Did I really bring a busted compass on my first venture out in these woods? Figured that would be just my luck. The only thing risking my own safety was my own incompetence. I shook my head hastily. No. No time for negativity. Boop was out there somewhere, cold and lost and hungry. Girl, you're gonna make me cry thinking about that. I had to keep going.
At the moment she was talking about the beginning, like, oh, I lost my cat. I was like, no.
It's been hours. I'm so lost. I don't even know why I keep searching, even after the moment I'd realized that. Why did I think this was a good idea? Hunger had been gnawing at my stomach for a while now, having missed breakfast and lunch altogether. The heat and humidity from the afternoon sun was unbearable, but the cooling air did nothing to soothe me. Even if I were to head home, I couldn't even pinpoint where that was. What do people even do in this situation?
They leave a trail so you can follow it back.
Yeah, something. That's what I would have done. I knew it was baseless optimism, but walking onwards was really the only thing I could think of to do. Surely I'll come across something familiar. I trudged on, my shoes carefully avoiding the tree roots intertwined across the forest floor. But in my weakened state, plus the approaching darkness, I found myself stumbling through the rough terrain. My feet hit something soft jutting out of the ground. Ugh! My hands shot out as I lost my balance. My feet clumsily tried to find purchase as I wobbled backwards, arms flapping. Poof! What? My shoe had landed smack dab in a circle of mushrooms, the brunt of it causing a wispy cloud to erupt from the cluster. I stuck my nose in my elbow to avoid breathing it in. I couldn't differentiate one tree leaf from another for the life of me, but I'm pretty sure humans aren't supposed to inhale whatever the hell this was. It smelled strongly of rotten wood and wet dirt, even as it cleared. Something shiny caught my attention. I stooped down to pick it up, gasping under my breath. It was Boop's collar, covered in whatever the hell these mushrooms released. I looked around desperately for any signs of him. Boop! Boop! Psst, 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 psst.
Oh, I love that they added that.
I coughed from inhaling some of the remaining dust floating in the air. I should really steer clear from this. Pocketing Boop's collar, I retreated carefully until I could breathe again. Stepping back, I could still smell it. It must have stuck to my hair and clothes. A quick once over confirmed my suspicions with a slight cringe. A thin yet generous coating of it covered my sleeves and jeans. I leaned against a tree, dusting off my clothes in a naive attempt to get the dust and smell out, to no avail. If anything, it felt like I'm breathing more of it in. What used to be musty now turned sweet, and I found myself inhaling even deeper, trying to pinpoint the smell. Cucumbers. It smelled like fresh cucumbers. A tingly feeling crept up my hands and neck, pinpricks spreading across my limbs as a strange heat reached my face. I started to feel drunk and woozy. My senses were numb. It should freak me out. And yet, a strange comfort washed over me.
Are we high?
I should lie down. I'm not spoiling anything. But if you want to be high, sure. My legs gave out from underneath me, my body toppling over at an awkward angle. I laid there and stared and stared and stared. Spoiler, I kept staring.
Oh, yeah.
It was nice here. A peaceful calm. The perfect place for a nap, even.
We are so high.
My eyes grew heavy as I swam in and out of consciousness. Yeah, a nap sounds really good right about now. Do you want to go?
Okay. Oh. Lots of critters passing through lately. Sorry this happened to you, little one. It could have been anyone, but it had to be you. Ah. Wait. A human? How'd you end up all the way out here? Still breathing, too. Ah, geez, I can't leave you here. What should I do?
I woke with a jolt. It was warm, but comfortably so. I could feel the weight of a blanket on me as I tried to sit up. I couldn't. I couldn't move my body. My fingers twitched uselessly at my sides as my eyes darted around in panic. Glancing about, I could see the interior of a cabin, or at least the ceiling of one. I couldn't see much past the corner of my eyes. Where was I? How did I get here? A desperate feeling rose in my chest. I had to leave. Right now. This was wrong, wrong, wrong. I wasn't meant to be here. I could hear the crackling of a fire nearby, likely the source of warmth I had felt on waking up. I could also hear footsteps approaching. Do. Should we pretend to sleep or stay awake?
Leaving the decision to you.
Well, I actually don't. So I obviously know about things. I don't think this one actually makes a big difference, this choice. So,
Okay,
I'm
if
a,
it doesn't, I would like to opt in for staying awake.
are we gonna, so we're not BSing, we're up, we're awake.
I'm a curious kitty. Ooh.
Sorry. The already existing fangirl in me is internally screaming. But I will tone it down. I fluttered my eyelids, straining to look at the person approaching. My eyes widened as I took in their appearance, the protrusions from their forehead catching my attention. Not to mention the green skin. The stranger didn't sense my unease as they heaved a sigh of relief.
You're awake. That's good. Very, very good. How are you feeling?
I blinked.
Oh. Sorry, I forgot about that. Here.
The person held a cup to my lips, a strong, sweet smell coming from the rim. A gentle hand grabbed my chin to open my mouth. I couldn't move to resist.
Don't worry, it'll help you feel better. I promise. Drink up.
As the liquid hit my tongue, all I could feel was a vague sense of heat. As I kept drinking, taste and texture returned, the sweetness of berries and chamomile coating my taste buds. I could even detect a hint of mint. Oh my lord. I lifted my head finally, hands fisting at my sides as I propped myself onto my elbows. The person kept a steady hand on my chin, careful not to pour in too much in case I choked. I finished every last drop, wiping my mouth with the back of my hand. I stared at my fingers, realizing I had full autonomy over my body again.
Good as new. Now, how are you feeling?
Just in case, I'm gonna do, as I always do, a spicy save,
The
because
spiciest.
I've been burned by losing game saves too much these days, so. But better, thank you. The stranger laughed.
Oh, I like the way you sound. Been ages since I've talked to anyone, much less with a voice as nice as yours.
I brushed off their strange compliment, finally looking around the cabin properly. It was a simple room filled with sparse but decorated wooden furniture, fit for someone living alone. An open archway to the right led to what I assumed was the kitchen. Next to it, a door was closed shut. Possibly the bathroom? Taking it in, there was a common theme of knitted decorations strewn about. Any available surface had patterned knitted tablecloths covering it. An unfinished project lay beside the bedside table where I sat, a pair of knitting needles jutting out of a pile of yarn from the small basket. As far as I could tell, it looked like the beginnings of a green scarf. The stranger was comfortable in staying silent, observing me as I glanced around. They tossed their hat onto the bed, scruffing their hair and making it even messier. With their hat off, their unique features were impossible to ignore. Sorry, but what are you?
Hmm? Oh, I didn't introduce myself, did I? Hiya, I'm Michael, with a Y.
I shook my head. No, I meant that, Michael stared at me, their left ear twitching. You look very... He snorted.
Ugly, off-putting.
No, just different.
Different, huh? You're just being nice.
Oh, well, then explain yourself.
I mean, that's kind of rude, isn't it?
I paused for a moment before pinching my nose brid.
Brid.
I paused for a moment before pinching my nose bridge, exhaling slowly. I'm just... Sorry, it's been a long day is all. I should be thanking you.
If it helps, it's a skin condition? Is that what you humans call them?
The way they said it didn't sound confident. And the ears?
Um, Genetics?
Right. And I assume the little. I waved vaguely at their horns? Antennae? Those things are just cosplay to complete the look?
Would that make a convincing argument?
I squinted. Maybe.
Then yeah, it's cosplay. He's cute.
Still doesn't explain everything. Michael huffed a nervous laugh.
Listen, I'm just a guy living by himself in the woods. You don't need to worry yourself further than that, okay? What's going on in the background?
I know what's going on, but I'm not going to tell you.
Okay.
Something in his tone compelled you not to question his existence anymore. He's just some guy living in the woods, completely normal. Right, completely normal. I'm Boofus. Michael beamed.
Nice to meet you, Boofus.
I fiddled with the blankets as Michael scooted closer from the edge of the bed.
I know I already asked, but how are you feeling? Any aches, sores, nausea? Intrusive thoughts, weird impulses, fever, maybe?
I don't. Oh. He placed his hand on my forehead before I could react. His hands were calloused, quickly retracting as he gave a thoughtful hum.
You seem to be lucid. That's a good sign.
Great? He hummed absently, his twitching ear reminding me of a perturbed cat. Cat. My cat! Oh, shoot! So sorry if this is out of nowhere, but have you seen my cat around these parts? His name's Boop. He's a sweet little thing, about this big, skittish, but he can approach strangers if he needs to. I pulled up my phone to show pictures of him, only to find it missing from my back pocket.
Oh no.
Wait, where is...
I haven't.
Huh?
Your cat. I haven't seen it.
Oh, I see. I slumped against the pillows, rubbing at my temples. He lost his collar, too. Even if anyone finds him, they wouldn't be able to tell where he's from. Ugh. Damn it. Michael stayed quiet, watching me from his side of the bed.
You came all the way out here for a cat?
Huh? Of course.
To the point where you're willing to run yourself ragged this deep in the forest for a cat? Do you realize how far you've wandered away from the nearest town? I found you near, unconscious, in an area nobody's set foot in for years. For a cat? Hell yeah, you do everything and anything for a cat.
I want to say as well, I'm not going to spoil it for you, girl, but it's not necessarily that he doesn't like cats. He's just has reasons for thinking that people wouldn't care. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say anything else.
Yeah.
I'm just going to leave it at that.
Ugh.
He sounded like he was holding himself back from giving me a stern lecture, as if in disbelief I had such little regard to my own survival. My cheeks grew heated at how stupid reckless that sounds. I mean, he's not just a cat, he's my family. I know it was stupid for even trying, but I had to. Michael eased up, shoulders tense as he looked me over from underneath his unruly bangs.
Family, huh?
He finally tipped his head at me with a smile.
You're willing to wander this far for such a small critter? I've met my fair share of lost campers, hunters, and a few runaway teens or two. But someone looking for their pet? You're kinda weird, aren't ya?
I sputtered, much to his amusement. Speak for yourself? Who cosplays in the middle of the woods? Michael laughed, a deep, hearty one resonating from his chest.
Fair. I think I'm starting to like you, Boofus.
Likewise? His smile widened, but something about it was off. He was showing too much teeth. I'm just imagining that, like I'm doing that with my face.
Like, I need to smile to show I'm happy, so I'm gonna.
It felt like he hadn't talked to someone in a real long time and forgot how to smile the right amount. I rubbed my neck, trying to think of something else to say. Can I ask, how did I get here?
Oh, like I said, I found you in the woods, not far from here.
Oh, geez, really? I knew I was tired, but I couldn't have possibly... Huh. I did step in something. Something important. Familiar pinpricks crept up my skin. Home. I need to go home. Michael stiffened as he grabbed my shoulder.
Never mind that. You'd fallen unconscious from, heat stroke.
Heat stroke? No, that wasn't what happened. I wasn't. I was fine up until... Michael shook his head insistently, leaning close.
No. Firefly, you weren't fine at all. If I hadn't found you when I did, well, who knows what could have happened. You could have gotten injured or attacked by a wild animal. There's danger in the woods, you know.
No, he was right. You had been so foolish. How did you think you could do this on your own? Searching for your cat in the middle of the woods. And to go in without bringing any water? Passing out from heat stroke of all things. How could you have been so stupid? I shook my head, brain too foggy to pick apart my thoughts. He sounded confident, so why should you doubt him?
Is he doing that? I know you're not going to confirm or deny, but I'm going to say right now, I think he's doing that pink thing, and it's like kind of like a suggestive sort of thing.
I don't know if you... sure, yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't know if you want me to confirm or not, so I'm just kind of like shaking my head and nodding at the same time.
I just imagine you like having a knowing smile and like nodding along like, yeah.
I have the biggest grin on my face, so yeah.
Okay.
Gonna do another spicy save in case anything happens. Also going to check our recording because I'm super paranoid. Hello? How do I go back? Oh, return. Well, if it means anything, I'm glad you were there. Michael relaxed, hand on his lap once more. He grinned at me.
So am I, Boofus. I'm definitely glad I found you.
His eyes were hidden fully behind his unruly hair, but I couldn't help feeling how intensely they were fixated onto me as he said that. The hairs on the back of my neck stood. Sure. Without a distraction, I've only just realized how uncomfortable I was sitting still. The blanket on me was starting to itch, just as the desperate need to get home began to rise in me again. This was interesting, but I should really get going now.
Wait.
My host jumped up from the bed before I could. That's you.
I mean, I can't just let you wander around the woods this late. Please, stay a bit longer.
But Michael...
Come.
He grabbed my hand and led me across the room. We stepped into the kitchen, a fragrant smell of cooked potatoes and meat hanging in the air. Two plates had been set out on a small circular table, complete with utensils and mugs of tea.
I wasn't expecting guests today, so the food is nothing fancy. But join me for dinner?
He looked so hopeful, ears drooping. You'd feel so bad if you had to say no. What was the question again?
If we join him for dinner, which I am all for.
Yeah, also, have you noticed pink, red? Does that make you feel anything?
Yes, I'm assuming, like I said before, that when it's pink, that's him doing whatever magical powers he's doing, and it's kind
Mm-hmm.
of like trying to, uh, like suggestive manners, like, "Hey, why don't we do this?" To get us to say yes to something. I'm not sure what the purple thing is though. Like, why do we feel the need to keep wanting to go home? And
Hmm.
I'm assuming it has something to do with the mushroom powders.
Hmm. Interesting. Interesting. Shall we say yes then to our host?
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes, yes. Michael's jaw dropped for a brief second before he quickly recovered.
Yes, yes, of course. Here, come sit. I'll serve up the cottage pie in a minute.
I sat as instructed, my stomach rumbling something fierce as the smell was the only thing I could focus on. Yes, this was definitely the right choice. What was so important that you had to leave so soon? The outside world can wait. You could stay here and enjoy my company.
Oh, oh, actually, I should ask, are you okay with meat for dinner? I could make something else for you if that's not your preference.
Oh, it's one of these things again, isn't it? I'm gonna save here on a separate one because I'm actually curious. Like, if we ever, it's not probably a big thing, but I'm just nosy.
Are you
Um,
curious about the don't eat meat?
a little bit because I've personally done the meat. Well, I've seen the meat one before, so, but I don't know. I'm curious how he will react to it because but he already made it as well. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, because uh, we'd be making him do another thing. I mean, there's
Mm,
potatoes in there though. He could always just give us the potato parts.
true. And if you had some kind of like, if you were vegan or vegetarian, or if you had some kind of digestional thing and you can't eat meat, then you'd
I don't
have
think
to.
that would
So
be like a negative.
no, I wouldn't. That's what I'm saying. Should we? I'm curious.
Yes.
I'm curious. I'm a nosy.
Good thing I asked. Thanks for letting me know. Let me pick some veggies from the garden and I'll make you something. Aw.
He's so accommodating. I love it. Uh, that was really cute. He left out the back door with a basket, coming back inside surprisingly quick with a smile on his face. I expected him to toss something in a bowl and have it done just like that. But apparently he had other plans. I watched as he watched. I hate when those two words are together because my brain's like a. I watched as he washed the veggies thoroughly before chopping them up with an extra sharp knife, setting them aside and pulling out a container from one of the cabinets. He set a pan on the stove and oiled it up, tossing in half of the ingredients and seasoning it with some herbs and spices while a pot boils next to it. The small kitchen quickly filled up with the smell of his cooking. My mouth was already watering in response. That's so sweet. So not only it's not like he was like, "Oh yeah, here you go. Here's a carrot." Cuz you can't eat meat. He's like, "Okay, let me just cook up a full meal for you." I love that. That is so sweet.
That's so cute.
I twiddled with a fork on the table, trying to ignore the gnawing feeling in my gut. Luckily, I didn't have to wait long. Before I knew it, Michael had already finished, humming as he strode over to the table and set my food down in front of me. Oh, that looks good, actually. I looked down at my dinner and almost gasped. It looked so good. That's what I'm saying. Look at that. Oh, no. I
That
need to
looks
eat
good.
more. I'm hungry. The rice was fluffy as it peeked out underneath the colorful pile of veggies. I didn't know a simple dish could look so tantalizing. The serving size was a bit heartier than expected. He must have known I was starving. Michael brought over his own serving of cottage pie as he settled into his seat.
Sorry to make you wait. I tried to keep it simple but filling. Go ahead, dig in.
He didn't have to tell me twice. I jabbed my fork into the dish, scooping up the rice with a spoon in my other hand and shoving it into my mouth. Hot! That would be me. I always burn myself.
You same.
Michael kept a polite expression, the corner of his mouth lifting as I panted with the food still in my mouth. He gave me a few seconds to recover, elbow planted on the table.
Is it good?
I nodded vigorously, even though my buds were burning. Mmm. I couldn't taste anything. He laughed.
It's usually better on the second bite.
I slowed down, hand on my mouth, as Michael poked his fork into his pie. I tentatively blew on the plate to make sure it was cool before taking another bite. He was right. The second bite was a lot better. Are you and I just impatient eaters? I think we talked about this before, how if the food's there and it's hot, I just feel compelled to eat it, even though I burned myself.
I guess so. For me, it's kind of like it's gonna taste the best when it's hot, and so knowing I'm gonna burn myself, it doesn't matter. I'm like, it's gonna be worth it.
The rice was soft and flavorful, mixing in nicely with the crunch of the vegetables with every chew. I've never had greens this fresh, and with how gently he cooked them, every single element was finished to perfection. My host watched me enjoy the meal from across the table.
Do you like it?
Yeah, this tastes amazing, Michael. He flushed from the compliment, rubbing the back of his neck.
I'm glad. I like to think of myself as a decent cook, but I've never been able to get anyone else's opinion on that.
Do you like baking in particular?
Not always. I usually go for simple dishes with any ingredients available.
I nodded amicably, though didn't say much else. I was more focused on scarfing down dinner, which thankfully Michael didn't seem to mind. The overall atmosphere was nice and homely, and I could hear Michael tapping his feet from underneath the table. I guess he was that happy to have someone stay for dinner? It did seem like he lived alone, judging from the surroundings in his cabin. So, I'm kind of curious. He perked up instantly, his focus solely on me. What made you want to live all the way out here?
Oh. Well, when you look like me, it's kinda easier to just live out of sight from everyone else.
A pang of guilt shot through my chest. I was giving him a hard time about how he looked, too. He must have sensed it clear as day on my face.
Not that you're one of them. You've actually been nicer than most. Though I wonder if...
His smile turned strained.
Never mind. My point is, it's better here than anywhere else. Why don't you try the tea, Firefly?
He seemed uncomfortable now, easing into a different topic. It's probably best to follow along. Oh, sure. I reached out towards my mug, only to push it off the edge with my clumsy fingers. Wait! I bent over the side to grab it, fully expecting it to fall just out of reach and land on the floor into broken pieces. It never did. Instead, a long green appendage was twisted around the ceramic mug, securely keeping it in place. Not even a drop had fallen out. My eyes trailed along the length of it until I pinpointed that it came from behind Michael, the rest of it partially hidden beneath his cardigan. Michael? Is that yours?
I...
Michael buried his face in his hands, the strange appendage from before lowering to his side, mug in tow.
I'm sorry, Boofus. I think it's time I was honest. Ah.
He lifted his head, fingers carding his hair back to reveal his eyes. I froze as multiple pairs of irises stared right into mine before darting to the side and avoiding my gaze.
I know it's a lot to take in, but this is who I really am. Please don't be scared.
Well, I don't want to freak out because he's a cute little cinnamon roll.
I wasn't gonna freak out, but also kind of wanted to point out that, like, he mentioned, well, when you look like me, it's kind of better. And then she felt guilty, and I was like,
Mhm.
Well, you're just a cosplayer, so I don't know what you mean.
Oh,
Obviously knowing what he's talking about.
remember he did also say his green skin is a skin condition though. So even if he
Right,
wasn't like
right,
even if
okay.
you take the horns away,
We're gonna be as cool as a cucumber.
mhm. Remain calm. I mean, I wouldn't freak out. I would maybe be a bit like, "Whoa, that's interesting," but I don't think I would freak out. I swallowed audibly, willing myself to not look away. He seemed to be holding his breath as I gripped the edge of the table. It felt unsettling every time he blinked those eyes in succession, even when he wasn't looking at me. See, this is what I mean. I would be unsettled because obviously, if you saw
Yeah.
this in real life, you'd probably be like, okay, that's different. I'm not used to it. But I don't think I'd be like freaking out because he's been nice to me so far, so why should I think otherwise, I guess? Was it real? It had to be. Everything about him suddenly made so much more sense. The isolation, the avoidant behavior. He looked freaky, yes, but he also looked sad. I swallowed thickly. I'm not scared. Michael's many pupils blew wide, dilating like an excited wildcat. It sent a shiver up my spine. Okay, maybe just a little bit scared.
Sorry.
He hastily grabbed an empty plate and hid behind it, shoulders scrunched up despite his stature.
Aw. Would it help if I just hide it?
I can hear it. I can hear it in your voice. You're starting to like him.
I liked him already, but now it's just like, aw.
Yes, join me. Okay.
You don't need to hide yourself. I could fix my hair like before if that's what you prefer.
His voice was muffled behind the ceramic barrier between us. It was kind of endearing. I slowly reached out to touch his hand, the slight brush of my fingertips making him jump in place. Michael?
Yeah.
Can you put that down?
Uh,
He slowly lowered the plate. His eyes were still darted to the side, avoiding me. Can you look at me?
uh. Don't look at me like that.
Also, I don't know if you've noticed yet, but when he blushes, it's not red or pink, it's blue. So this is always when
Yeah,
he's
I
blushing.
was noticing.
I always love that. I think it's so cute. So sorry, I just can't stop looking. This was so awkward. His hands were shaking. I looked down at the mug still floating next to him, hanging on for dear life. I reached over and plucked it straight out of his grasp. I tentatively took a sip, noticing how Michael was watching me over the rim of the mug. The taste was mildly spicy with an almost earthly bite to it. I recognized it instantly as ginger tea. I hate ginger tea so much.
You know, your husband actually, bought me the coffee set,
Yeah.
and one of the flavors in there was ginger coffee.
Hmm.
That was the one coffee flavor I despised. It was the most disgusting thing ever.
Yeah, I remember. That. So, for context, my husband bought her this coffee set, like she mentioned, and my husband wanted to know because they're both coffee people, what she thought of each coffee. And I think, if I remember correctly, they all got, varying levels of ratings. That was the only one where she's like, nope. I
I had
remember
given
that.
all of them like a 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10. Maybe the lowest was like a 5 out of 10, except the ginger coffee was negative 1,000 out of 10. It was, oh God.
You didn't even finish that one, didn't you? You kind of like just dumped it, didn't you?
I honestly hate wasting stuff, but like
Hmm.
I poured it in and the smell hit me, and I was like, oh God, this doesn't smell good, but maybe the taste will be better. Took one sip, bleh. I couldn't drink it.
So the reason I don't like it is because, well, I don't like the flavor, but when my chronic pain acts up, and I get nauseous from it, they recommend ginger tea for nausea, and every time I have to do it, I hate it and I hate myself because it doesn't really feel worth it to me. Oh, but I'm glad Boofus likes it. It's almost room temperature, but it's still pretty good.
Huh?
You wanted me to try the tea, right? I like it, so thank you.
Oh, I'm glad.
Michael relaxed back into his seat, following my lead as I picked up my fork once more. The silence didn't last long as Michael fidgeted.
Are you really okay with this? With me?
I gave him a once over, really taking in his features. It's very different than what I'm used to, but I think I can learn to like it. Is that weird to say? I mean, you're not bad to look at. It's actually kind of, I'm gonna save, I'm gonna save, I'm gonna save. Damn it. What do I say? So now you know why I saved, because there's options.
Can I be a flirty person?
You can if you want.
I want to go all flirty, unless he likes being.
So, because I really like this game and I follow the creator, there are some things I know about the character. I don't want to spoil any of that though. So he'll pretty much respond positive to all this because we're accepting him. So it's kind of up to you. We can say he's pretty, we can say he's cool, we can say he's hot. They're all positive essentially. So I'm gonna let you pick.
I'm gonna go with hot.
All right, let's go for it.
Gonna exercise those flirting skills. Hot? You're not referring to the temperature, are you?
Nope, I am not.
Oh.
He looked confused but seemed embarrassed anyway. My point is, your appearance shouldn't matter. You've been nothing but kind to me so far. I'd be the worst kind of person to judge someone based on how they look. I haven't known you that long, but you seem like a good person. You're fine, Michael. I smiled at him. We're fine.
I see.
He fidgeted some more before nodding, smiling a bit.
Thanks, Boofus. I'll cherish this moment forever.
He beamed at me as he enthusiastically went back to eating his food. That was something. We continued with a bit of small talk, mostly stories about Boop or snippets from my personal life. Michael hung on to every word I said, not bothering to elaborate much about himself despite my burning curiosity. I could tell he was extremely insecure about his appearance, so it's probably best I keep my questions to myself for tonight. We cleared up the kitchen in relative silence, Michael storing away the rest of the pie as I washed the dishes by the sink. Being out here in this remote cabin, I wondered how he had running water. Maybe I'll ask him later. So, thanks for dinner.
Thanks for the company. Oh, and please, take the bed tonight.
But...
You're my guest, and I'm the host. Take the bed, okay?
Alright. I'll be out of your hair first thing in the morning. Michael got quiet, staring at the floorboards. With his hair out of his way, I could finally read his expressions. He did seem upset. Is that okay? I do need your help, though. I'm pretty sure I'm just going to get lost again on my own. His tail flicked behind him.
Yeah, I'll bring you home tomorrow morning.
I heaved a sigh of relief. Thanks, Michael. I'll see you in the morning.
Yeah. Good night, Boofus.
Good night, Michael. He seemed really happy being able to say that. I plopped myself down onto Michael's bed, getting comfy beneath the blanket. Michael was gathering some blankets of his own to make a makeshift bed on the floor in front of the fire. He had an impressive collection of knitted items, a comfortable nest forming in the center of the room. My eyes trailed after his tail, now out in the open as it flicked and swayed. Kinda like a cat. I miss Boop. Now with a full stomach, dozing off came easy. I didn't even realize how tired I was. I listened to the gentle crackling of the fire, my vision darkening.
Everything is so cute, and my heart just squeezing. I love this guy, and then her thinking I miss Boop is like, ah. Good night, Boofus.
A soft humming invaded my dreams, stirring me awake. I blinked my eyes open to unfamiliar surroundings, swaddled in a blanket that clearly wasn't mine. What? Where? Oh. I spotted the familiar figure of my host seated on a stool in front of the fire, hands deftly working on the green scarf bundled in his lap. His back was towards me, but I caught glimpses of his fingers as the needle softly clicked between the yarn. He looked incredibly adept at using them, the rhythmic movements almost hypnotic as the fibers wound together into an intricate pattern. I slowly stirred into a seating position, rubbing at my eyes. Wanted to point out to the channel that my bestie here and I crochet, which I know is not the same as knitting, but I mention it because when I first played this game on my own, that really made my heart squeeze as well, because I was like, I also like making things, you know?
Yeah, my heart was squeezing at that. Like when she noticed the knitting thing, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh man, now I want to crochet." And now seeing him crochet, well, not knit, crochet, knit is like,
Mm-hmm.
ah, I want to learn how to knit too.
Yep. The movement quickly caught his attention, ear flicking in my direction before his eyes trained onto me. Just like last night, his pupils blew up as we made eye contact. His expression lit up the instant he saw me.
Oofus, hey, I'm glad you're finally awake. You look so tired. I didn't want to disturb you until you've gotten enough rest.
Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Boofus. Did you sleep well?
I was still too groggy to answer his question, a yawn slipping out as I stretched. He smiled kindly, a soft chuckle under his breath.
Like a baby, then?
He pointed over his shoulder to the door beside the fireplace, tilting his head towards it.
You can freshen up You can freshen up in the bathroom if you like, while I start on making us some food. I'd have eaten breakfast by now, but I'd want you to join me while the food is still hot. This man, he didn't need to wait for us. Ugh. How do eggs and toast sound? Yummy.
I'm gonna save again, because I always like saving. Yeah, sure.
Great. I'll see you in the kitchen then.
He tucked away his knitting materials and set it aside.
Oh, I also have a surprise for you after breakfast. It's not the most exciting surprise, but just join me when you're ready.
He ducked into the kitchen without another glance. I could hear his boots thud about the floorboards, cabinets opening and closing in succession in the kitchen. I suppose that's my cue. By the way, I don't know if you're interested in this. I'm just a bit of a nerd for knowing about everything, but he's really tall. He's over
I was
6 foot.
about to say, what does he mean by ducked? How tall is he?
He's over 6 feet, yeah.
Ow.
So he would absolutely shrink you, make you look really small.
How dare you?
No, he'd make me small too. I suppose that's my cue. I rolled out of bed, leaving the warmth of Michael's blankets and trotting over to the door Michael pointed out. Stepping inside, I didn't know what I was expecting when he said he had a bathroom, but it was surprisingly spacious. Everything looked like it was carved and polished out of wood. He seemed to have everything you'd find in a modern bathroom: a sink with a cabinet, a shower and tub, and even a toilet. Curious, I crept over to the toilet in particular, inspecting it. There wasn't a tank like you'd expect where the water would be stored. Instead, there was a compartment to the side full of sawdust and a scoop. I expected to have at least a bit of a smell, but it was surprisingly odorless. There was even a roll of toilet paper on the side. It was no flushing system, but it was hygienic. Michael must have done his research. Walking over to the sink, I stared at the faucet before hesitantly twisting it. I jumped when I heard the rush of water pouring in, swirling in the basin before disappearing to who knows where. Wow. Why am I impressed by a damn functioning bathrooms. To be fair, though, if you're living out in the middle of nowhere, this is impressive. Like, that's cool.
Yeah, I was just kind of thinking, like, that's possible. It's not that shocking, but I guess it is like, it's impressive still, yeah.
I helped with the dishes last night. I already knew Michael had plumbing. Shaking
Yeah.
my head, I finished freshening up and headed to the kitchen. Michael looked up as I entered, a steaming kettle in his hand with 2 empty mugs on the counter. It might have been the lighting, but he was taller than I remembered. Glancing to the table, I could see he already finished plating up our food. Oh, wow. You work fast. Michael looked proud of himself.
Can't have my guests stay on an empty stomach. Go on, have a seat. I'll join you in a moment.
I returned his smile and sat down, stomach grumbling as I looked at our plates. Once again, Michael was generous with the serving sizes. That looks good as well. Fat slices of bread were toasted perfectly with crisp buttered sides, bright red tomato slices, and crisp salad peeking underneath the fluffy eggs. It looked amazingly tantalizing, the smell of savory herbs wafting into my nose. My mouth watered.
My mouth is watering.
I might need to eat. It's like after midnight here, and I'm just looking at all this food like, dang, I don't know. Michael set down a steaming mug beside me before settling into his own seat. Peeking above the rim, I could see small flowers floating about, tinting the water yellow. It faintly smelled of apples. I recognized the yellow dried pellets on tea packaging I've seen before. Oh, chamomile? He nodded.
I hope you like it.
I'm sure I will. His smile widened, his tail swaying at the tip by his feet. He seemed more relaxed, showing his natural features this morning. Any trace of panic and hesitation from last night were gone, replaced by a look of contentment. Michael bit into his toast, and I followed suit. The food was as delicious as I expected. The chunk of toast I bit into was heavenly, the butter sweet on my tongue. The tomato and salad provided a nice crisp balance. And the eggs! Something about simple home-cooked food is just the best. Michael was happy to eat in silence, occasionally looking up at me as I enjoyed my food. He'd smile when our eyes met, his bottom pair narrowing into a happy squint. I wondered if he'd be open to some questions. Hey.
Hmm?
Do you mind if I ask, how did you learn to cook? How do you have plumbing in your house? What's it like living in the woods? What would you like to ask? Okay, so I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe if I remember this correctly from when I played, that if I remember correctly, it's not just one question, you can actually ask all of them. So what
Okay.
do you want to ask first? Should we just go in order?
Yeah, let's go in order then if it doesn't matter.
Okay, how did you learn to cook? Oh wait, that's me. Cottage pie is a pretty complicated recipe. I just wonder if anyone taught you how to cook.
I'd be lucky if someone could teach me how to make boiled eggs, Firefly.
Have you noticed he's given us a nickname?
Yes, I did.
I love it.
But it was trial and error mostly. My earlier endeavors were, pretty much inedible. I picked up a thing or two about cooking, though, so your taste buds aren't gonna fall victim to any nasty creations, like in my early days at least. Speaking of, did you enjoy dinner last night?
Of course I did. You're a really good cook, Michael.
I'm glad. So cute.
I know, right?
It probably wasn't obvious, but I'm really happy I got to cook for you. I don't get guests often, in case you couldn't tell.
I should ask you to cook for me every day then. He grinned at my joke, looking pleased.
I'd be happy to.
I chuckled as I took another bite. So, what's your favorite thing to cook? He lit up at the question.
Fried mushrooms.
Fried mushrooms?
Yeah. There's plenty to find and it's easy to make. Side note, I despise mushrooms.
It's kind of scary how much we're on one wavelength because my brain was just like, I need to ask her if she likes mushrooms. And then you're just like, side note, I despise them. I'm like, oh, okay. I
I was
like
reading your
mushrooms.
mind. I could sense it.
Here's a fun fact about me. When I was a kid, I was a super picky eater. And I mean picky to the point where I committed the crime of scraping everything off my pizza, like literally just had it with the like sauce and the bread. But here's a funny thing. I one day was brave enough to try a mushroom on pizza, and that's how I started eating toppings was because of mushrooms. And now I eat a
Wow.
lot of toppings. So we had very different experiences with mushrooms.
Me and you are the opposite because I was not a picky eater when I was younger, but
Mm,
somewhere down the line, I was like, I was about to say something. Somewhere down the line, I was like, I hate everything.
I'm so curious what you were going to say now.
Oh, I was going to
Mm.
say a bad word.
Oh. Oh no.
I know.
Huh. I do remember finding a patch of mushroom. But, huh. I do remember finding a patch of mushrooms yesterday. They smelled pretty funky though.
You remember that?
Hmm? What was that?
Nothing. Anyways, mushrooms were the only thing I had for a while before figuring out I could eat other stuff like roots and veggies.
Do you forage all of your ingredients?
Mostly. The times I figured out how to catch fish and hunt game were the best of my life, I'll tell you that. My first taste of meat?
He didn't. Oh, sorry. I was so. I thought it was so cute the way he bounced it, threw me off for some reason. Um, he did an awkward version of a chef's kiss, as if mimicking something he saw on television once.
Mamma mia. Mom. Oh, okay. Mamma mia.
It's so silly. I love it. Was he trying to say Mamma Mia? He continued before I could even dwell on it for a second longer.
But nothing beats what you humans are able to make. You guys go nuts with ingredients. Rice was a challenge. It's a precious ingredient since I have to actually get some from a store, but once I figured out how to make it nice and fluffy, I consider it a special treat.
I did a double take. You go to the store?
Yeah? Where else would I get it?
I thought you would grow it yourself or something. He laughed as I flushed in embarrassment.
It's flattering you think I'm even capable of something that impressive, but no. I mean, you live out in the wilderness and you grow a lot of things, so I wouldn't put it past you. There's only so much the forest can provide.
But what about money? We're talking about human currency, right? Otherwise, how would you even. Do you actually have a job? A thought occurred to me. Or did you steal it? He almost looked offended.
You take me for a criminal?
No, but that would mean then how? Michael bit into his toast, his two eyes winking in mischief.
I have my ways, Firefly. I'm curious too.
What's that supposed to mean? And now we can just continue on with our questions. How do you have plumbing in your house? I know it's a silly question, but I can't stop thinking about it.
Oh, you were wondering about that?
The embarrassed look on my face was probably enough of an answer.
Aw. Well, it's nothing fascinating. It's just rainwater I got stored above the cabin.
Just rainwater? He nodded. Side note, I actually. Okay, so the first time I'd actually heard about this was actually from this game, as silly as that sounds. And then shortly after that, I saw someone who lives like Michael does in real life, and they explained how it works, and it blew my mind. Like, genuinely, how they made their own plumbing system. So I saw the real life version of all of this, and it's not that simple, in my opinion. It seemed pretty. Seemed pretty complicated.
I can already imagine it sounds it.
Yeah. And then the funny thing is, it made me respect this character more because of it. Because I was like, Michael, I've seen the real life version of it. I detected a hint of pride as he continued.
It's actually a recent installment, believe it or not. Granted, the project took a while, gathering materials, figuring out the tools, finding the right instruction manuals. Plus, I had to figure out where to store the water tank. And don't worry, I installed a filtration system so it's safe for us to use. I check in every few weeks to make sure nothing's contaminated.
That sounded daunting, especially considering he lived all the way out here in the woods. You did all of that on your own?
I kinda had to. Anyway, it took a whole lot of calibrating and adjusting, but it really worked out. And now that I think about it, I'm glad you get to be comfortable here during your stay, too. Does that answer your question? Yeah.
We could say yeah, or we could say, where'd you learn how to do all that?
Uh, I assumed that he was just self taught, but okay, I'm curious if he's got a different answer.
So, do you want to ask him?
Yes. I had to figure a lot of things on my own. See?
There was a faint hint of exhaustion in his eyes.
But to answer your question, I go to libraries a lot. It's where I learned about a majority of things.
The fact that he even ventured into buildings at all already surprised me.
And if I'm real lucky, they have all these neat DIYs and workshop manuals archived for anyone to browse through. It took a while to figure everything out. A really long time, actually. But hey, I had nothing but time. And it paid off. I'm considering upgrading the toilet next, but for now, the composting setup works fine. Learned about that in an old camping guide.
He paused to take a breath as if he hadn't talked this much in a while.
Uh, I, I'm rambling, but that's how I did it. Is there anything else you want to ask?
I feel kind of bad if we keep pushing him on this because he's sort of. I mean, he's going into public, but if you want to, we can. Or we can just say, I'm good. I'm gonna leave it up to you again.
I'm good. To be honest, I didn't even really care about the other question, but I was curious just to see if it'd be different. But yeah, I don't want to keep pressing him on it. I already know he goes out. I'm curious about how he goes out, but he can tell me when he wants.
What's it like living in the woods? I still can't believe how cozy you've managed to make it, considering the whole middle of nowhere thing.
It wasn't like this when I found it.
No?
It was a major, fixer-upper.
So the cabin was abandoned. I never would have guessed.
Yeah, I'm really happy I get to live somewhere permanent for once. It's not much, but it's home.
What's it like?
Peaceful, quiet. I do like it a lot. The forest provides me with everything I need. A- and nobody bothers me for the way I look out here.
His ears twitched slightly.
Sometimes you just happen to end up where it's most convenient for you and everyone else.
The way he avoided my eyes as he said that gave me the impression there's something more to it. Like his home wasn't just out of convenience, but a fear of something else. Rejection, perhaps? Or something worse.
A- Anyways, I don't really have anything else to say about it unless there's something specific you want to ask.
He doesn't think about his answer much before beaming at me.
What about you? I know you've told me a little bit about yourself, but what's it like being you?
I scoffed, waving a hand. Please, I'm the least interesting person in this room, trust me. His eyes were shining in earnest as he leaned forward.
Tell me anyway.
Oh, well. I told him about my life, at least the parts I was comfortable with sharing. Just like last night, his eyes didn't leave my face, occasionally darting about my features in interest. The, the direct ogling was making me nervous, but I suppose I was doing the exact same thing when it was his turn to talk. Eventually, I came to the topic of my job and the woes of living in modern capitalism. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I am a bit jealous. You have the whole cottagecore aesthetic practically. What? I am a bit
Perfect.
jealous. You have the whole cottagecore aesthetic practically perfect. His face morphed. His face morphed into a confused pout.
Cottage core?
I explained it to him in my own words.
Oh. You're saying you want to live the way I do? Out in the woods?
I nodded without hesitation.
I mean, I wouldn't mind showing you the ropes.
Maybe for once this is a character we can marry and not regret.
Yeah. No betrayals this time.
His tone seemed strangely lilted. What do you mean?
Uh, Never mind. Anyways, I don't get what the appeal is, but it's not easy either, you know. The forest provides, but it's up to me to make use of it. Starting out was
A dark look crossed over his face then, as if reliving a bitter memory.
rough. Uh, but I'm built for survival.
I feel like asking him to elaborate would make things awkward. I decided to veer the topic into a different direction. Doesn't it get lonely?
Sometimes. But I'm used to it.
He smiled, his eyes lighting up.
Besides, I have you at the moment, don't I? I never thought I'd enjoy having someone around. You must be really special.
I'm starting to know a lot more about Michael. He didn't directly say it, but it felt like he was lonelier than he was letting on. Not to mention how he managed to make a home for himself, all on his own. I had to wonder if he had anyone at all. Do you have any family around?
Family?
His expression turned solemn for a moment before he looked sheepish.
Remind me how that works again? I get the concept based on some books I've read. I don't have what you call parents, if that's what you're asking.
My mouth dropped open in shock. No parents? He shrugged and took another bite of toast.
Not that I recall.
Then how did you.
What's that like, living with so many people like you in such close proximity?
Huh?
That's how it works, right? You and other humans living in one house? And you have this, Dina thing that makes you relate to the rest? That's what makes a family, right? What?
He means DNA. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Oh,
Was he
was
talking
he
about.
talking about. Oh, wait, that's you.
Was he talking about DNA? His definition threw me off, but I had to answer somehow. Not just that. Family is. Let's see. People you're related to, like your mom and your dad and your siblings and your relatives. People that you love and care about who love and care about you too. Actually, I guess they are just people you live in close proximity, whether by choice or not. To me, this would be true because you're family to me and we're not related in any way.
I was about to say, I agree more with the second option.
Yeah, let's go this option. He seemed intrigued.
Is that so? That does sound nice. It it is there anyone that you love and care about? Boof. Boop.
course I do. I have a family. Yeah, I love my friends. Yeah, I feel like that would be true. And also, okay, maybe I'm overthinking this, but this would make me feel worse saying because it's like, of course I do. I have a family. Whereas this is kind of like, yeah, I've got people I care about, like just generally. Like maybe I'm
Yeah.
overthinking that, but
Uh,
that's how.
Honestly, I was just thinking of Boop and that was it. So I'll take the second one.
Yeah, we know we have Boop, and Boop is family and friends. Boop is both.
Your friends can be considered family too? Oh,
Heck,
see, that's cool too to teach him.
yeah, yeah. I don't see why we have to be related to be family. Yeah, this is what I mean. I even
Yeah.
consider my cat family.
Oh, and this is the same for all families?
I bit my lip pondering the question. It would be naive to think that. A lot of families do love and take care of one another, but not everything's perfect. Sometimes that love can be misplaced, or taken advantage of, or even abused. Michael looked thoughtful.
So it starts with love? I've read some stories about that. Love, I mean. Though certain feelings just don't make sense to me. At least from a reader's perspective.
I
I
guess you'd
guess.
have.
Oh, wait, it's you.
I guess you'd have to experience it for yourself to understand. He stared at me unblinking for a moment.
Yeah, you might be right. I never considered that. Then again, who would bother loving a monster like me, huh?
Oh,
Oh, don't
that's
say
gonna
that.
that's gonna make me cry. Oh no, I don't like that. What? You're not a monster.
I look like one, don't I?
That's besides the point.
You're not denying it, though.
I'm just saying.
It's okay. You don't have to lie to me. So, family.
Right. To be fair, everyone's definition of family could be different. What about you? What's your definition of family? Michael looked surprised I asked him that question.
I don't know. I've never had one, and I think your answer just confused me more.
Well, if you ever figure it out, let me know. Michael stared at the remaining crumbs on his plate before he nodded, avoiding my gaze.
Sure.
We both fell quiet, the lull in conversation blanketing us in a comfortable silence. All this family talk, it reminded me of the reason why I'm out here in the first place. To look for my beloved cat, a sight I might never be able to see again. I'm gonna do another spicy save just because it's been a while and I always get worried when it's been a while. I couldn't help the sinking feeling in my chest, the growing pit in my stomach. I wish I was able to find Boop. You would have loved him. Michael opened his mouth to say something, but changed his mind. My voice warbled as a lump formed in my throat. Sorry. I just miss him so much. I keep thinking if I just went looking for him sooner, maybe I would have been able to find him by now.
Ah,
He was quick to speak up. You okay?
you did your best. Yes, it's just so. I
I
feel
know.
bad for her. You did your best, Firefly. No one else could have gone to the lengths that you did. You almost risked getting yourself. I'm sure wherever he is, he's doing okay.
You really think so?
I I know so.
His voice was laced with a confident assurance despite the worried look on his face. I nodded with a quiet sniff. I hope so. He's just important to me, is all. Michael looked like he wanted to reach across the table for me, but sighed instead.
Actually, I'm sorry, Boofus. I I should tell you. Uh, uh, um, maybe I do have family, now that I think about it. That was the surprise I mentioned before.
Wait, really? He nodded.
Are you done? I could take you to go meet them right now.
I looked down at my plate. During the conversation, I didn't even realize I'd finished the meal. Yeah, I'm done. His movements were quick, stacking our empty plates and mugs and setting them in the sink. He grasped my hand before I could say another word, pulling me up and heading outside with me in tow. As the door swung open, I could only see forest ahead before he tugged me along as he rounded the side of the cabin. Almost immediately, my peripherals were assaulted with greens on both sides. I figured he was the type to grow his own vegetables, but to see it in person as confirmation was a whole different thing. With Michael leading the way, I only had a moment to take in the surrounding garden. He had marked the different plots with messy drawings on small wooden signs jutting out of the dirt. Carrots, lettuce, potatoes, trestles of tomatoes and beans. Or trellises, I think it's... Yeah, trellises. I wouldn't have been able to differentiate one plant to another without the signs. Even the chamomile from our tea now grew abundant close by, the small buds swaying slightly. I bumped into Michael as he suddenly stopped, the man looking over his shoulder to beam at me. We reached what looked like a fenced-off area with a bit of netting stretched all around. He stepped aside, watching me as my eyes widened.
Aww.
Chickens! 3 fat, happy little hens strutted about like they owned the place. As he entered through the gate, the hens swarmed over in an instant at Michael's feet, circling him and pecking at his boots.
Ladies, meet Boofus. Boofus, these are Mawar, Sansuu, and Primrose. Or as I like to call them, Marmar, Sunny, and Rosie. Thank you.
He ducked to pick one up, fluffing up her feathers as he smiled. He gently scratched the hen's little head, which I assumed was Rosie. She practically melted at his pampering, eyes sliding shut. The other two flapped their wings in a huff and went about their business once more. Michael leaned closer, beckoning me to pet Rosie. She was so soft.
Rosie's the oldest. She doesn't lay eggs anymore, but I couldn't bring myself to, you know. So I bought her some friends. Marmar came first. Sunny's a more recent addition. What do you think? Do we make a good family? Yes. So precious.
I laughed and nodded, watching as Rosie nuzzled into Michael's chest. I didn't expect chickens, of all things.
Were you expecting something else?
I was expecting it to be someone else.
Oh. No. When you look like me, people generally don't stick around.
There's that negative self-talk again. You don't even look that bad. His eyes flicked to me, a look of pleasant surprise crossing his face.
You really think so?
Yeah?
You can't be that naive, Firefly.
I mean it. He let out a polite scoff as he cratched Rosie's head absently.
You genuinely believe people wouldn't run away at the sight of me.
Well, I didn't. His smile turned smug, the corner of his lips lifting just a bit.
Of course you didn't. Because you couldn't.
Shoot. He wasn't wrong. I was pretty much paralyzed in his bed when we first met. But I still don't think you look that bad.
Is that so? Describe me then.
What?
You heard me. Look at me. Describe what you see.
For a second I thought he was being condescending, but looking at his eyes, all I could see was a bit of playfulness. He looked at me expectantly, eyes shining. You're... tall?
Go on.
You have blonde hair. He gave an amused squint, his left ear twitching.
What else?
You have green skin and a tail. He chuckled, though there was no malice in it.
But that's not all, is it?
He definitely expected me to say it straight. Oh, fine! So you don't look human. So what? He hummed absently.
As I was saying, animals generally don't care if you look like a monster.
My heart twisted at his words. His passive nonchalance somehow makes it even worse. Michael, you're not a tug at my shoelace caught my attention. By the way, this isn't me clicking too fast. It's like, I just wanted you to know because it goes really fast sometimes.
Oh, okay.
I know I have in other games sometimes click too fast, but this time it's just sort of like yank. A light brown hen stood at my feet, her beady eyes shining. Oh, she's so cute as well. Oh, I love chickens so much. Sunny flapped her wings almost expectantly.
Aw, I think she likes you. Go ahead, pick her up, gently, like how I did with Rosie.
I hesitated, but slowly lowered myself to cup Sunny by her wings. Lifting her up, she was quick to nestle herself until she was comfortably tucked under my arms. I could feel her wings wiggling as she nuzzled into my side. So cute. Michael's gaze softened as I cooed at the chicken, mimicking her small clucks.
So, did it help? Cheering you up, I mean.
Oh, so that's what this was. A fuzzy feeling bloomed in my chest as he looked at me, chicken in his arms and concern on his face. A little bit, yeah.
Only a little?
I snickered, rolling my eyes. Okay, mister, a lot.
That's more like it.
His proud grin was infectious. I couldn't help smiling back. We spent a bit more time with the hens, petting them until they were satisfied. Michael even showed me the spot where they like to have their dust baths, little chicken-shaped holes scattered about in the dry soil underneath the coop. Once the gals had enough of us, we refilled their water container before leaving. He left them some treats, procuring them straight out of his pockets before shutting the gate. The girls' excited chatter over the food faded as we made our way back inside his cabin. I sat by his bed as he crouched down by the fireplace. From the window, I could see the sun outside was getting higher. It might be close to afternoon now. Hey, Michael?
Hmm?
He looked up at me from where he was stoking the fire. I rubbed my arms, unsure where to place my gaze. I think it's a good time for me to go now? My expression fell, but I caught myself quickly. He'd done his best to cheer me up. It'll be inconsiderate towards him to leave in a bad mood. I might have to accept that I'll never see Boop again. I think it's better if I focus on moving on. He was quiet for a moment, hands in his pockets.
If you say so. But you don't have to leave just yet. You've still got plenty of daylight left. And there's some places I want to show you. Won't you come with me?
I had to decide. Whoa!
Ooh.
Okay, that startled me, even though I've played this before. I completely forgot.
Okay. I promise I'll take you home right after.
Oh, Michael, I need a moment. My heart just jumped. Because I was about to read it and click, and then it just got me. Oh, okay. He took another step towards me.
Please, Firefly.
I didn't want to say it, but he looked desperate. Okay. I'll go with you. The joy on his face was shining bright as a billboard.
Great. Let me get your stuff. Oh, let me get our stuff.
He disappeared into the kitchen, returning with my backpack in one hand and a satchel in the other. He passed it to me as we walked by towards the front door. Huh, I almost forgot I had this. Rifling through my bag, I found cat trees, Boop's collar, a broken compass, and my phone. The battery was dead, though. Oh, I like the little
Oh, the keychain.
Yeah. Still, that's one less thing to worry about. I checked through my bag once more, finding an empty water bottle. I frowned, distinctly remembering I forgot to pack water for my trip. Or at least, Michael told me I did. Didn't I?
You ready?
I looked up at Michael, startling when I spotted the large crossbow in his hands. He followed my gaze and shrugged, albeit with a nervous smile, like he'd been caught doing something he shouldn't be. He quickly strapped the weapon to his back and out of sight.
Don't worry, I'm not going to use it unless necessary.
Yeah, I would hope not. He chuckled at my indignant tone.
Do you think I'm going to let you out into the woods without guaranteeing your safety? I made a promise to get you home, so this is just an extra precaution.
You don't think it's a bit much?
Better safe than sorry, Firefly.
He did have a point. If anyone knew these woods and the kind of danger it held, it'd be Michael. I glanced over at him again, noticing he changed his oversized cardigan for something more outdoor appropriate. His eyes tracked mine, his shoulders stiffening as a tint spread across his face.
So, shall we?
He opened the door and waved me out. I stepped outside to glance around his front yard. The landscape wasn't anything special, it was actually left quite plain, just thick with trees and foliage. Only paths of dirt and flattened grass clued me into the routes that Michael would use as he comes and goes, webbing in all directions trailing to the front door. Come to think of it, anyone passing through would be able to spot Michael's house if they squinted through the trees carefully enough. I guess he was right that nobody's walked through this area in years. I heard a lock turn before Michael joined me by my side. He smiled wide before tipping his head in a direction, making sure I was behind him before he started walking. I was hesitant, but followed suit. It was quiet as we traveled, save for the sounds of nature calling out around us. The weather was bright and warm, the sun casting pretty rays through the gaps in the trees. I had to admit, enjoyable as it was, the bird calls and rustling of leaves as we walked somewhat brought bad memories. Yesterday was miserable. I was lost, tired, and hungry. There was a chance I wasn't going to make it out alive. I watched Michael's back as he led the way, the man barely paying any mind to his surroundings. His ear would occasionally flick back in my direction, but overall he seemed confident on where to go. Having Michael as my guide home was definitely a great assurance. It made me even more grateful he'd found me when he did. I sighed and shook off the negative feelings, keeping pace while appreciating the fresh air. I stepped up next to my companion, willing my voice to speak after plenty of silence. This is actually kind of nice. A good old nature walk. I coughed into my fist, feeling embarrassed. I don't go outside as often as I should. Michael smiled kindly.
I'm glad I get to bring you then.
Yeah, feels different when you know where you're going. Actually, where are we going? He sensed my nervousness and laughed.
Don't worry. We're almost there.
I looked up and saw it before he even pointed it out. A clearing in the distance, the trees growing strangely sparse in that area. I held my breath as I noticed the grass slowly starting to dot with flowers, delicate blooms swaying here and there in the breeze. As we got closer, Michael watched me as my mouth dropped open, a knowing twinkle in his eyes. It was breathtaking. A secluded little meadow of flowers lit up by beams of light, making the scenery resemble a page from a forgotten fairy tale. Butterflies flitted about in pairs, their wings flickering and complementing the surreal yet enchanting ambience of the whole place. Michael let me gawk some more before walking ahead, turning to face me before sitting down to relax on the grass. He slipped off his satchel and laid it on the grass by his side along with his crossbow. I blinked out of my stupor and approached him, spinning around to drink everything in before plopping myself down next to him.
So, what do you think? Pretty, isn't it?
I nodded dumbly before finally glancing to face him, the man's gaze on me softening as our eyes met. A butterfly approached us rapidly, making me flinch on instinct. It landed on his finger as he held it out, its wings flapping gently. He smiled at the dainty creature, a fond look in his eyes before he held it out towards me.
Do you like butterflies, Boofus?
I like butterflies.
I'm scared of them.
Well, we have very different feelings here.
Yeah.
Oh.
For Michael's purposes, I will say I love butterflies, but side note, I'm afraid of butterflies.
I used to catch and release them as a kid. Maybe I'd like I don't know. I used to like catch them and I don't even know how I did it as a kid anymore, but I somehow caught them and then I'd be like, "Oh, cute," and then I would just let them go. I used to touch a lot of bugs when I was a kid, actually. Now that I think about
Me and you are very different.
it, I used to climb trees and everything. I do. I think they're so pretty. This is amazing, Michael. His usual prideful smirk was absent, replaced instead with a shy smile.
I'm glad you like it.
The sun was at its peak now, the air getting warmer as minutes passed. The leafy canopy over us provided enough cover for us not to overheat. Michael picked a flower with his other hand and placed it in my palm, his tail looping loosely around us both as my cheeks darkened. He closed his eyes and leaned back further, the butterfly still resting on his hand. Do you hear that?
Aw, it's a purring.
Mm-hmm. My ears caught soft rumbling before I realized it was coming from his direction. I almost wanted to ask, but I didn't want to ruin the moment. My gaze dropped as I twirled the flower in my hand, holding the stem delicately. The gesture felt platonic, but also romantic? Wonder if Michael was even interested in relationships. He'd been alone most of his life. He'd probably get tired of my presence sooner or later. Now we're the ones with the negative talk.
Mm-hmm.
Before I could contemplate further, the butterfly on Michael's finger took off, my gaze trailing after it as it left the sunlight and flew away into the woods. Which reminds me, Michael?
Hmm?
Don't get me wrong, this place is stunning. But is it okay if we go now? He straightened from his relaxed slouch.
Why? We just got here.
I chewed on my lip, hesitating. I love it here, I do. But I want to go home, Michael. Michael studied my face.
Rufus, do you want to leave me that badly?
What? No! I need time to recover from losing Boop. I know it's silly and dramatic, but knowing he won't be there when I get home. I trailed off, another shot of guilt and regret filling my chest. I just need to get it done with.
We just need some alone time, Michael.
I'm gonna do another save, cause I live in fear of losing saves. Speaking from a woman who's lost so many saves. I feel a hand rubbing my back. Michael nodded slowly, looking me in the eyes. His smile was gentle.
That's okay. I understand. But maybe this place can help with that. Michael, you're not listening to what I'm saying. It's a nice spot to nap in, isn't it? I picked it out just for you.
Remember, I did tell you there's a yandere here still. No matter how sweet it is, there is a little bit of a yandere going on.
Just to preface, I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt because, like I said before, from my perspective, it definitely seems like, yes, he's being a little bit selfish by not letting us go home, but he seems to have a reason. But I would rather he tell me and be honest so I can be like, yes, I understand. I'm not going to go anywhere. But instead, when he does this, all I want to do is, I want to go, thank you. Why don't you go ahead and lie down?
His words made you sway, a sudden bout of sleepiness weighing heavy over your eyelids. He was right. It is a nice spot to nap in. Why were you in such a hurry? You yawned, laying back to stretch on the grass. The warmth from the ground seeped through your clothes, lulling you into a sense of comfort and safety. There you go. Just spend some time with me. Just a bit more. Please.
Ah. Oh, here's something else I could show you.
Oh, whoops. He reached into his satchel and pulled out a wooden box.
It's called a kalimba.
I blinked slowly, clarity coming back as I shook my head to pay attention. The box fit neatly in his hands, Michael holding it as if he were typing on a phone. I could see it had a hole in the middle with thin strips of metal arranged in a triangular shape over it. What does it do? A proud smirk spread across his face.
I'll show you.
He began to
I knew that. Sorry.
No, it's fine. Two things. One, there is a YouTube channel. I can't remember the name of it. If I remember it, I will put it in our description. But there's a person who plays this instrument to their cat, like, while being outside. It is so peaceful. Really cute. Love the videos. And two, I've always wanted to learn this instrument because it's so, like, cute and, like, simple. Not simple as in, I'm not saying it's easy to learn. I've never used it. But you know what I mean? It just seems so, like, nice. Like,
It sounds so nice.
yeah. He began to pluck at the metallic prongs, a gentle ringing sound resonating with every flick of his thumbs. I couldn't recognize the song. He might have made it up himself. I closed my eyes, enjoying the tune. Michael gave a soft chuckle as he kept playing.
Relax and listen, as long as you like Firefly.
A few minutes passed by with Michael plucking away at the instrument, the two of us sunbathing like two cats on a Sunday afternoon. I must have dozed as the next thing I knew I felt a nudge on my shoulder.
Comfy?
He chuckled low when I refused to open my eyes.
I mean, if you'd rather stay.
My eyes shot open, my whole body jerking to sit up. Michael glanced at me. Kalimba, I wonder if it's Kalimba or Kalimba. Oh, well. Kalimba in his lap and half a forget-me-not chain in his hands.
What?
I shook my head, slapping at my cheeks. I can't believe I fell asleep. I just need to.
It's all right.
He cut me off. His sigh was heavy.
I was hoping... never mind.
He patted my shoulder, though his smile didn't reach his eyes.
Thanks for being here with me.
It's really difficult because on one hand, I think that MC is perfectly valid in wanting to leave. Like, I mean, ultimately she wants to go home. She doesn't know where her cat is. You know, she has a right to go home. And she doesn't really know Michael that well. She's only met him. But on the other hand, I feel really bad for him because he's been alone for a long time. And it's very clear that he doesn't want to let MC go because, I mean, he probably also doesn't know if she'll ever, or if they'll ever show up again. You know, like, it's...
Yeah. The thing is, like, since she's expressing so much that she wants to go home, it's just like, that's what she wants. Let her go home, Michael. And I understand why she wants to go home, because if I was lost in the woods and somebody helped me out, cool. Even if I get along with them, cool. But I need to go back home at some point.
Yeah.
And also, like she said, she needs to process her feelings about Boop.
Yep.
Maybe we can do this again sometime. If I ever see you again. Let's get you home.
He rolled over to his feet and stood up, brushing off dirt and fixing his satchel.
Come on.
We gathered our things and set off into the unknown once more. Well, unknown to me at least. Michael seemed to have a map of this place ingrained in his brain.
You seem a bit sleepy still, so let's freshen up, okay?
We walked a bit further away from the clearing, coming across a river. Compared to the rest of the path we walked, the area was shaded considerably with a thick canopy of leaves over us. The flowing water looked inviting as I kneeled down by the bank, Michael idling close by. I dipped my hands in, eager to wash my face. The water was refreshing and cooled my heated skin in the afternoon sun. I pulled my hands back to see Michael peeking over my shoulder into my reflection, smiling with a faraway look on his face. He startled as our gazes met, irises darting away to look at himself instead. Immediately, his expression changed. His ears flattened, a grimace twisting his features as his lips curled back. I'd never seen such contempt in his eyes as I did then, staring at his own visage. Oh, that makes me so sad. I hate that. Ugh.
Yeah.
He stepped away, retreating underneath the cover of a tree to lean. What? Oh, that was me this
You went
time.
back. Yeah.
That was me. He stepped away, retreating underneath the cover of a tree to lean against it with crossed arms. He doesn't notice me watching. I patted my hands dry on my shirt and approached him.
You ready?
Yeah. I stopped him before he could turn to leave. He looked at me with a questioning look, tipping his head. I hesitated. I wasn't the type to speak my mind directly. Most of the time I'd keep things to myself and let things go by. But nobody should look at themselves and have that sort of reaction. Hey, you're not, might as well be frank. You're not a monster, Michael. He looked taken aback.
What makes you say that?
I saw how you were looking at yourself. How you talk about yourself. None of it is true. I keep telling you, you're more than just your appearance. I don't know what compelled me to do it, but I did it anyway. I reached for his hands and held them between us. His eyes widened at the contact. All it took was a day with you, and truthfully, I think you're the most amazing person I've ever met. He made a choked noise.
Uh, uh, uh.
I'm just some old nobody compared to you.
That's not...
Shut up and listen. He promptly shut his mouth with an audible click of his teeth. From where I stand, you saved my life. You've taken care of me better than I could ever ask for from a stranger. That already proves to me you're not the monster you think you are. You're charming, you're smart, you're sweet. You're a million more wonderful things, but you are not a monster. I take a second to compose myself, lowering my voice. You may look different, Michael, but guess what? His multiple eyes stared into mine, ears flattening as if fearing the worst. That makes you all the more beautiful to me. His breath hitched. Oh, he's got a full blush going. It's so cute. I could feel his hands squeezing mine, fingers trembling. It was like he forgot how to breathe. I realized my hands were getting sweaty. I pulled away hastily, scratching at my neck and avoiding his gaze. I could feel the blood rush to my face. I could dunk my whole head in the river and it'd probably let off steam. Sorry, that came out of nowhere. I just didn't feel right if I didn't say anything. I hope you understand. An awkward silence passed between the two of us. Anyways, I caught him mumbling under his breath.
Can't let you leave.
What?
I said you can't leave. I mean, not without your cat, right?
I frowned. I've already tried, Michael. Like you said, it was stupid for me to just wander off in the woods as if I'd find him through dumb luck. He paused, his fists clenching.
But I haven't.
Huh?
I haven't tried. I know these woods better than anyone. I can try looking for him. But that means you can't leave yet.
Michael, I appreciate the offer, but I don't think I should stick around any longer. I have a job and responsibilities and... You hissed in pain, a sudden migraine overcoming your senses. You felt sick, your stomach wringing itself in knots. It felt like the world was warping around you as your legs wobbled. Your body buckled over as you resisted the urge to vomit. Michael caught you as you slumped gracelessly to the ground, your head resting on his shoulder as he cradled you close.
Hey, you don't look so good.
Your vision doubled as he spoke, his speech oozing together, words into an indecipherable mess.
Are you okay? You need me to carry you home? How dare you?
Huh. So there's 4 very different options here. What would you like to say?
Let's go with the all caps. Yes, please.
The all caps, okay. You know what? I know. Okay.
Okay, no problem. Just hang in there. Hang on to me. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You don't deserve this. If I could just one more day with you, I'd be the happiest man alive. Here we are. Let's get you tucked in. I should give you some clothes. Especially since you'll be staying another night. You're okay with that, aren't you?
Ugh. I blinked groggily awake to the gentle sounds of a crackling fire, the itchy texture of worn bedsheets, the weight of a heavy knit blanket. I could recall once or twice having felt these very sensations to the point I'd considered them familiar and comforting. And yet. Oh god. That got me as well. Oh, he's purring.
It's not as cute this time, sorry.
I like how we've played full-on horror games that I sometimes jumped less to, and this is what really gets me. Ah, okay. Nothing could prepare me for the bright yellow eyes peering into mine. Ah! Oh. We smacked him, didn't we?
I mean...
My knuckles hit him square in the face as Michael yelped, nose scrunching as the taller man stumbled backwards into a stool. He landed on his rear with the grace of a clumsy toddler on the floor. I sat up in a panic and immediately grimaced, landing back on the bed with an unceremonious flop. It hit me in one fell swoop how my whole body was aching. Every single one of my limbs felt like they'd gone through a wringer and came out the other side all wrinkled and wrong. I groaned aloud, leaning my head back on the pillow. Michael shifted back to his feet, rubbing his nose.
Oofus.
His voice was an awkward croak before he cleared his throat.
I'm glad you're awake.
Sorry. I just like that he's like, yeah, fair enough, you punched me in the face. That makes sense. I mean, it kind of does.
He deserves it. At this moment in time. How are you feeling?
Terrible. He visibly flinched.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
He stepped closer to the bed, leaning over warily in case my hand dramatically whips out again in self-defense. With my hand settled on my lap, he deemed it safe enough to sit beside me. What happened, Michael?
You don't remember?
I shook my head, wincing a bit as my head pounded. Not at all. Michael hesitated.
You tripped. And hit your head. I had to carry you home?
His words almost slurred together as he fidgeted. My head? I slowly lifted my hand to feel for bumps or bruises, but he hastily snatched my wrist.
Don't worry about that. Here, have this. It'll help.
Michael gave me a familiar-looking drink as he quickly pressed a cup into my hands. Sitting up with some effort to take a sip, I couldn't help the small sense of déjà vu. The amount of times I woke up in his bed dazed and disoriented is almost uncomfortable now. At least the drink was helping, just like he promised. My body felt lighter as I finished. Michael took the cup from me and set it aside before wringing his hands together with a nervousness I haven't seen in a while.
So, I'm sorry this happened. I didn't mean for you to get hurt.
I sighed and waved aside his worry with. What? Oh. I sighed and waved aside his worry with an embarrassed grumble. Wouldn't be the first time I tripped, if you could believe it. It's not your fault. He gave a soft chuckle, but it sounded guilty.
I suppose you're right. It's just...
His face looked like he had a million thoughts running through his head.
I promised, didn't I? I said I was gonna look out for you. I said I was gonna keep you safe. Instead, I made you hurt.
His voice cracked.
I'm so sorry, Boofus.
The sudden change in demeanor was startling, to say the least. You couldn't have predicted it was going to happen. And I'm fine, see?
Oh, Firefly. I guess you're right.
His expression carried a lingering doubt, but he quickly masked it with a small smile, his eyes dim.
In that case, you'll be staying?
The way he said it almost sounded like a decision that's already been made. Or a plea. What do you mean? His eyes darted aside.
You agreed to let me find Boop, remember?
Did I say that?
Yeah. So, you'll be staying a while longer, right?
He didn't even let me get a word in. In fact, a feeling of uncertainty washed over me, as if we've had this conversation before. I don't think I should.
Besides, what's the rush? It's already late and you're in no condition to travel anyway.
I blinked before glancing out the window. Pitch black darkness greeted me as I realized he was right. Yet another uncanny feeling spread through my chest, shivers crawling down my spine. I don't know why, but something about this whole situation felt wrong. I feel like I'm forgetting something else. Michael had a nervous look on his face.
Maybe you hit your head harder than you thought.
His words didn't sound confident. How long was I out?
A couple of hours, I think. You, really took a hit.
It was that bad? My brows creased as I tried to recall today's events. But I don't remember tripping. There was a river. I remember you. And then...
Your memory must be fuzzy, and for good reason. After all,
That wasn't me.
right.
My stomach rumbled suddenly, echoing in the quiet room. There was a heavy silence right after. Michael was polite enough to hide his chuckle under a palm as I flushed. He seemed relieved.
Well, lucky for you, I've got dinner on the way. It should be ready soon. You're okay with soup, right?
Soup. Soup sounds all right. My stomach growled once more, the pain of an empty gut making me wince a bit. My host noticed immediately.
Oh, maybe we should get you some food sooner than later. Do you feel okay enough to get up?
I nodded with a grumble, swinging my legs over the side of the bed before noticing something was on my lap. Wait, what's this? Oh, that's cute. I unbundled the pile of thick fabric, realizing it was an oversized sweater and a pair of baggy sweatpants. A mushroom pattern? That's oddly cute. The material felt warm but comfortable. A towel laid right next to them. Is this for me?
Oh. I figured since you'll be staying another night, you'd want some fresh clothes. They might be a few sizes bigger. Or a lot. Sorry.
He'd gotten shy for some reason. On the other hand, I didn't have to take a whiff at myself to know that I probably...
Oh, yeah.
We stinky now. I nodded again, giving him a small but grateful smile. They're fine, Michael. Thank you. Yet another thing I had to owe him. I couldn't help but feel like I'm taking advantage of his kindness now. I
Girl.
mean,
So, you know where the bathroom is? Take your time cleaning up. I'll be in the kitchen if you need anything. Ah, I'm really happy you're here.
he stood there for a good few seconds, fidgeting with his hands as if he wanted to say more before finally heading to the kitchen. I watched his back retreat before hoisting myself up and heading to the bathroom. Now that I was alone, I had a moment to gather my thoughts. The nagging feeling was back, a prickling feeling across my skin raised goosebumps as if to tell me I shouldn't be here. I just couldn't place my finger on what. I'm gonna save again, I'm gonna save, I'm gonna save. I should be careful. I was probably just being paranoid. You know what? I actually don't remember if this makes a big difference or not.
Okay, cool. Um, I just don't know, like, if there is a point that we should be discouraging Michael and trying to make him understand that, like, hey, like, I get that you don't want us to leave and you like us, but you gotta let us go. Or because I'm thinking about like a 14-day situation where like you do have to kind of get that main character to like stay on course. So I don't know if for Michael it's the same thing or if for Michael it's just the more oblivious we are, the better.
I
Since you
actually
can't answer, I'm assuming.
I actually don't. Well, there's also another day release that I've never seen, which is well, I've downloaded this one. So, um I'm just going to check something real quick. It's not really a spoiler for me because I already know some stuff.
Okay. I'll feed you right now, baby.
Ah. Okay. Well, this choice does matter a lot
Oh.
if you want a good ending. I
Oh.
couldn't I couldn't remember if it did, but yep, it does. So,
Um,
do you want to know? Because, you know,
I just would like to know my question, and maybe it'll help me answer this one. Am I supposed to play oblivious, or am I supposed to at some points tell Michael, like, hey,
uh, well, again, I played this a long time ago, and I just had to check. From what I understand, and from the little bit I remember, we shouldn't mistrust him, or at least try not to. Um, so if we were to say I should be careful here, I'm just gonna say it to you. It could lead to a bad end.
okay, fine. Because that's the thought that I wanted to, because like that's how he leaves me feeling. Not that like I think he's gonna do anything bad to us. I just am trying to dissuade him from going yandere on us. To
Well,
yandere, like in the dark way.
yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where he definitely has the yandere traits and stuff. Because I mean, he's literally keeping us here. It's like, um, realistically, okay. Again, another thing to point out when we're playing these games, all of these visual novels, a lot of the choices we make don't necessarily reflect how I would act in real life. I would be a little skeeved out by now and be like, "Whoa, what is going on?" Right? Like,
Yeah.
but in a game sense, again, I don't know everything because there's like day 3, which I've never played, which is in this as well. From what I understand, it's best to trust him. I could be wrong. That might change later in the game. I don't know. I only know up to a certain point.
Okay.
I think I actually only know. My gosh, I might only know day 1 now. I'm kind of lost. I don't remember if the days say day 1, day
Oh.
2. I don't know. I know after this and like when we go sleep, and that's pretty much it. I don't know past that. So there will be new territory for me as well.
Ooh.
Um, yeah.
Okay, well, because we are gunning for a good ending, we are gonna go with the second one.
I was probably just being paranoid. Then again, it's been a while since I've showered, so I could chalk it up to dirt accumulating on me and making me itch in places I didn't want to think about. How gross are we?
Yeah.
After undressing, I folded my clothes so I could place them in my backpack later before turning on the shower. The water was ice cold! My teeth chattered as I cleaned myself as fast as I could using some scentless soap by the side of the tub. Dressing myself again, I wrung out my hair as best as I could before drying it with a towel. Putting on the clothes Michael provided, I felt like I had shrunk in size. I adjusted the sleeves and the waistband to my liking with some struggling, just so my hands and feet could poke out of the holes comfortably. I couldn't help noticing his clothes smelled like freshly cut grass, with a smoky hint of woodsy bonfire? The scent reminded me of camping in summer. Just one second. I'm finding the sounds a bit loud in my ear.
Okay.
Maybe here. Because that shower sound in my ear was like... I was like, alright, calm down, water. Okay. The scent reminded me of camping in summer. Persistent doubt aside, I definitely felt way better compared to when I woke up. Stepping out, I could smell something good coming from the kitchen. A gentle humming greeted me as I came through the doorway. Michael was idly stirring a pot by the stove, looking up at me as I entered the kitchen. Whatever he had in that pot made my stomach grumble yet again. His ears flicked as he registered the clothes I was wearing.
How do they fit?
I shrugged. They're definitely bigger on me. He nodded, turning back to the pot.
I can see that. I wasn't sure what you normally wear, so I went with whatever I had that was
He struggled to pick a word.
coziest?
I gave him a hum of agreement, fiddling with the hem of his sweater.
Ooh.
Ooh, okay. I want to do a save. I'm always a saver. Do you want to know a spoiler about Michael? It's not a big spoiler, but it's sort of... I don't even know if it's addressed in the game. The creator has said something officially about Michael, which I found interesting. Do you want to know? It's relevant to this.
I was about to ask, is he a fan of flirting?
So, is that a yes, you want me to talk about it? Or a you'd rather not? So, according to the creator, Michael doesn't flirt. So, it's... From what I've understood, so take everything I say with a grain of salt, he doesn't understand flirting. So, if he does flirt, it's accidental. It's not intentional. So, based on that, I don't mind if we flirt, but I don't know what will happen. By the way, this is new for me. I don't know why I don't remember this. I don't know if I just forgot this part, but starting from this, I'm already new to this, so this is fresh for me as well. So we can flirt, we can goof around. I always want to flirt. I just don't know how it's going to go based on what we know about Michael. So that's my thinking. Or
I'm assuming he's not going to get it, but I'm all right with flirting then.
We can try it. We can see what happens. We have made a save, so if we ever wanted to go back and see the other option. To be fair, I think goofing around is flirting sometimes as well. Like, I mean, obviously, I'm assuming in this context it's meant to be separate, but to me, goofing is flirting. Like, sometimes.
I agree. To me, I only want to flirt because I want to see how he takes it, and then from then on, I can use it. Like, okay, don't pick these sort of options, or yes, pick these options.
It's kind of like how when we called him hot, he was kind of like, what? You mean like the temperature? I'm always curious if we ever were to go back. We might do that. I don't know if it'll be this video or a future one and just try a few different answers. I am curious if we had said pretty instead, because I feel like pretty potentially would have made more sense to him. But yeah, okay. So let's on this round flirt, see if he reacts to it. She's having doubts like us. Was I really about to do this? I guess I was. With the confidence of a courting peacock with nothing to lose, I leaned against the doorway, making sure to prop my hip in just the right angle against the edge. I'm sorry. Okay. I think I look good in your clothes. Maybe I should wear them more often. With how baggy the clothes were on me, I probably looked closer to a sentient sack of potatoes than a human being. Michael must have sensed something was different with my tone, as he gave a confused chuckle with his tail noticeably swishing side to side.
Uh, I guess you could. Though I'm pretty sure most of them won't fit right.
Undeterred, I continued on. Sorry, I just find it.
Oh,
I find it funny with him probably not being able to understand this. I could help find something more comfortable. I send the smoothest wink I could muster. Wink. Nailed it. He seemed to consider my offer.
I thought I found the right outfit, but you can look through the closet for something you like now that you're awake. I'm just cringing at Boofus.
I can relate so hard to this. It's kind of funny because it kind of makes me think of my husband, because I remember he doesn't really always respond to flirting either. It has to be quite obvious. Actually, no. Even when it's obvious, sometimes. Sorry, I'm thinking. Anyway.
Do you have something in your eye?
Oh man, it is not going well for us. I straighten subtly. I'm just trying something, I guess.
Trying what?
Never mind. What's cooking good looking?
Oh.
Oh, we are crashing so hard. Against all odds, his cheeks actually began to color, his hands stirring the pot, faltering for a brief second.
What?
Wait, this might actually work. I bolstered my efforts, leaning forward with another smile. You heard me.
You said...
He hesitated to repeat it.
Well... maybe you should get your eyes checked.
Yep, this was a terrible idea. I cleared my throat awkwardly. Thank you for the clothes. He must have sensed something wrong again as he quickly tried to salvage whatever the hell was going on. See this? So, we don't know how Michael feels about MC, but I would say it's fair to say that MC has a crush on him, which is so cute.
Yeah. For what it's worth, you look very flirting.
What? What? Whatever it was he said sounded like several strange clicks of the tongue. But with vowels? Somehow? What? He huffed, tail waving side to side like a metronome.
It means...
He trailed off.
I guess in your language it would mean... cute.
Oh, that's adorable! We did get something out of this. Oh, this was worth it. It was worth all the secondhand embarrassment. I love it.
So much.
My smile faltered as he fidgeted. We stared at each other. I might actually have a chance? The color on his face was closer to a blueberry the longer I looked at him. There was an awful, awkward tension before I broke it with a nervous laugh. Cute. And oh, that's so cute. In fact, I could swear I heard him whimper in panic. The situation was so absurd I had to laugh harder. Was that so hard to say? He sputtered.
I didn't think you'd be comfortable with me saying it.
Why not?
Well, you know.
What do I know? My grin was teasing, and he picked up on that quickly, his nervousness dissipating as he gave a sharp huff. His hand stirred the pot faster.
So I called you cute. It's not a big deal.
This is so adorable. Then why is your face so blue like it is? He made another choking noise, eyes darting about.
It's just the heat from the stove. I'm cooking my best here.
I snickered at his terrible excuse. You're a bad liar.
But it's true.
Stovetops don't do that.
Mine does.
This is so cute. I'm sorry. This is adorable. Oh my gosh. A glaring
Ooh.
a glaring contest ensued before we ended up bursting into a fit of giggles, my face warming from the silly banter. The kettle started whistling, then cutting our moment short. He seemed disappointed by the shift in the atmosphere, but quickly moved to pick it up.
Why don't you take a seat, Firefly? I'll be right with you.
He was already turning his back towards me to start preparing the tea. I slowly approached him. Hey, let me help this time. Michael startled, surprised to see me beside him.
Oh, sure. Could you get some bowls ready? We're having tomato soup. Oh, do you want some grilled cheese with yours, or would you prefer garlic bread? That sounds good.
Oh, I could have some garlic bread right now. Man, why is it whenever we game they mention food and I always end up hungry every time?
Yeah.
Oh wait, I've got brownies. I'm gonna ask my husband about that later. He made brownies. Okay, right now, if it was me, I'd want some garlic bread. I don't know what you want though. Grilled cheese. I want a garlic bread though. Oh.
I don't think it matters. I would prefer the grilled cheese in real life,
Oh, you don't
but go
like
ahead with the
garlic.
garlic bread.
You don't like garlic, do
Yes,
you?
no, yes, I do. I do like the garlic bread, but side note, I had like these cheese sticks.
Mm-hmm.
Are they mozzarella sticks? And I did not like the taste because they had too much garlic, but I do like garlic bread. It's just that incident that you're referring to, too much garlic.
Okay, but usually you'd be okay with garlic bread.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't know why I'm choosing this because it's not like I can actually have it now, but I'm gonna choose garlic bread because I really want it right now.
Got it.
I brushed past him, feeling his tail linger by my ankle as I grabbed the bowls and spoons from the bottom shelf. He started preparing the sides, the smell of toasted bread filling the kitchen and mingling with the soups. I took over preparing the tea. Finally, I ladled the soup from the pot into a larger bowl just as Michael finished flipping the last piece. Oh my god, I want garlic bread.
That looks so good.
This looks so good. Oh, we settled in for a nice hot dinner. Regardless of how I felt about tomato soup, Michael's turned out rich and creamy with an amazing balance of sour and sweet. The fragrant garlic bread added the perfect texture to the meal, practically melting in my mouth with every bite. Why are you doing this to me, Boofus? The simple combination of bread slices toasted with a buttery garlic spread dipped in fancy ketchup had no business being this good. There's still a feeling of stilted awkwardness, but the food helped ease us both into a warm, lighthearted conversation. You know what I'm quite happy with. So, even though flirting seems to go over his head, it's still worth doing because it was really cute. Like, he seems to still respond in his own way, and I really like that. Like, that was really good.
I don't think he understood the other flirting bits, but just calling him pretty much flat out to his face like you're good looking was the thing.
Yeah, you have to be direct. I didn't realize how hungry I was until I refilled my bowl, Michael watching me with his chin propped in his hand. His own bowl sat empty. Apparently, he'd already had his fill.
Is tomato soup your favorite?
From all the soups?
No, I don't like tomato soup at all.
I like tomato soup. I don't think it'd be my favorite. I don't know what my favorite would be. I don't know. I can't really think about that right now. His question was innocent, though his eyes were observing me carefully as I shrugged. I think I'd love anything you cook. He's still taking a second to process what I said.
Oh. Well, thank you.
No, thank you. Usually I get takeout or microwave dinners. Nothing beats home-cooked food.
What's a microwave?
I snickered and tried to explain it the best I can.
A metal box that heats up food?
Does sound weird when you think about it.
That sounds like what's the word in those fantasy books? Magic? Am I using that word right?
I laughed lightly. Sometimes science is just like that. We talked about other kitchen appliances off the top of my head, slowly branching out to other human inventions. He seemed even more interested.
I never understood how
Technology?
technology. Oh wait, that's you.
Technology.
Technology worked.
I pulled out my phone and let him fiddle with it, though with the battery dead, there's not much I could show. He was clearly disappointed.
It's about as useful as a brick.
For now! Otherwise, I'd have a whole network of information in my hands. His eyes lit up.
Like a library, and you can access it at any time as long as the battery is alive?
And as long as I have an internet connection.
Right. Internet. I didn't know you could do that. I just see people staring at them all the time. It seemed boring.
You know what this makes me think of? You know how, have you ever heard like somebody say, imagine explaining something to someone or something that's not from this world? When you think about it, staring at this little square, this black square, it sounds really boring without the context.
Yeah.
He looked at my phone again, a look of wonder in his face.
Having a whole library in your hands. Everyone must be really smart then.
No. Well, not everyone uses it like a library, more like a messaging hub or a source of content consumption. His ears flicked as he stared at me with a blank smile.
Consumption? You can eat it?
Yeah, he has no clue what I'm talking about. How do I explain to him the very concept of Web 2.0? I cleared my throat, deciding that I simply won't. Maybe
Good
I can
call.
maybe I can show you what I mean someday. His eyes brightened, seeming to like that idea a lot.
You mean that? I can have some?
Yeah. I think it's about time you start getting a little more modern around here, no offense. Imagine what you could do with a generator. His smile widened just a tad, though there's still a cluelessness to his face that was just a tad. Wait, what? Oh, I don't know why I said tad again. His smile widened just a tad, though there's still a cluelessness to his face that was just a little endearing.
Generator?
I laughed and reached across to pat his hand, a gesture that made his smile wobble. Like I said, I'll show you someday. A loud thwack sounded against the floorboards, followed by rhythmic thudding. Leaning over, I could see the tip of his tail was wagging back and forth, the tip of it slapping against the floor almost comically. Michael looked flustered as he laughed softly, pulling his hand back to rub his neck.
Sorry.
He looked like he had more to say, but exhaled heavily, gathering himself before tilting his chin towards my empty bowl.
Are you done?
I nodded as he stood and collected our dirty dishes, heading towards the sink to wash them. I followed close behind, carrying the mugs. We made quick work of the dishes, heading back to the living room to relax. Michael headed to his basket of knitting materials, his movements routine. I wasn't sure what to do with myself. I looked over at Michael as he pulled out the stool from the corner of the room towards the front of the fireplace. His ear flicked in my direction before he returned my glance.
Do you knit?
Well, we both crochet, so...
Which is not the same, so no.
It's not the same, no. I'm gonna save again because I would be curious in the future to say yes because it's a hobby they share, but we don't. So should we go no?
No.
He gave a soft chuckle.
Maybe you'll like it if you tried.
Can I see what you're working on? He looked surprised, not expecting my interest.
Sure. It's just something to work on in my downtime. Halfway through, I started to realize that maybe it's not really my color.
He lifted it up for me to see, only for my foot to kick the basket and sending a ball of yarn rolling towards the bed. Ah, sorry. I quickly followed after it, only to halt as I spotted something under the bed. It was glinting off the bright firelight within the room. Oh. Approaching the bed and tilting my head lower, I could see it was a tin container the size of a shoebox. What's that? Michael looked up.
Hmm?
Under your bed, is it something important? A hesitant look came across his face.
Oh. Just some emergency supplies. Nothing too special.
I had an inkling it was something more, but I figured I'd let him keep his privacy without prying anymore. I see. Michael watched me for a moment or two before clearing his throat.
Hey, Firefly?
Hmm?
I've been meaning to ask. Do you remember what you said at the river?
The river? Oh, where I tripped. I pursed my lips in thought. Not really. Everything feels fuzzy to me. He seemed disappointed.
Oh. Not even a little?
I shook my head. Why? Did I say something stupid?
Just some things. It made me happy.
Oh god, I think I did say something stupid. Before I could ask about it, he'd already gestured towards the bed.
Well, you should get some sleep, Firefly. Want to wake up nice and early to find Boop, right?
The idea of looking for my cat once more made me wilt. You really think we'll find him? Michael looked on edge, pocketing his hands.
It doesn't hurt to try.
But it does hurt to hope. His face twitched.
Well,
His ears flattened as he thought of something to say, clearly struggling. He finally opened his mouth to respond, his words slow and careful.
I'm here for you.
Thank you, Michael. He nodded, a strange mixture of polite happiness and hidden anxiety playing across his face. He's probably not used to another person sticking around this long, let alone someone going through a loss he could care less about. Maybe I've been enough of a burden to him. Actually, can you just send me home? His brow raised, his posture straightening in surprise.
Are you sure? But what about Boop? Don't you want to see if we can find him?
I'm sure. A look of apprehension crossed his face.
But it's so soon. Boop could...
Michael, please. I can't think about him right now. I just want to go home. He fidgeted with the sleeves of his cardigan.
But... I...
He looked like he had so much more to say, but whatever turmoil going on in his head was quickly swept behind a reassuring smile.
Okay. Get some sleep, Firefly. You've been through a lot.
He went to collect his blankets again, already arranging them into a nest like the night before. The words left my mouth before I could think twice. Do you want to use the bed tonight? He stopped in his tracks.
Oh. No, I don't mind the floor.
Okay.
Wow, we're being proactive.
I meant we'd be sharing the bed. Hearing it out loud just made me want to slap myself across the face. Michael blinked at me before laughing lightly.
My bed's too small for two people, don't you think? I don't think it'd be comfortable for either of us.
But you could cuddle.
Yep.
He eyed the bed frame before looking back at me.
I'll be alright.
With that, he crouched on the floor and started setting up his bed, his tail swaying languidly. Ugh. I laid down and faced the wall, the sharp sting of embarrassment in my chest refusing to go away. Oh my gosh. You know what it is? It's like, you know how she flirted earlier and obviously it went over his head. And then now she was like, hey, we could cuddle or something. And it's like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Why did I ask that? That was so stupid. Maybe I needed a sense of comfort. Or maybe I just needed him? Whichever it was, at least he took it at face value. I wasn't sure what I'd even do if he said yes. I groaned internally and shut my eyes, willing myself to go to sleep. Yeah, I'd be up all night thinking about that.
You know what's really interesting though is
Mm.
that like obviously he's using whatever powers he's using to persuade us to like go along with him.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's interesting that even though he persuaded us to stay the night, like we still and like not only that, stay the night, but also let him look for Boop and like continue to stay a little bit longer. The MC is still like, I want to go home.
I
So I
think,
find that interesting that it doesn't go away.
yeah, I think, I'm assuming his power only can do so much. Also, it seems like he mostly uses, I mean, I'm not, okay, I want to put this out there. I'm not excusing Michael's actions, because obviously what he's doing isn't right. But it seems like it's always linked to him not wanting to be alone. And I kind of feel bad for, again, not excusing it, but I do kind of feel bad for him.
Mhm.
The last thing I heard was the gentle crackling of the fireplace, accompanied by Michael's knitting needles clicking away in the dark. Silence. Before I knew it, I could hear birds chirping outside the window. The first thing I noticed was the fire must have been out, considering I couldn't hear the familiar pop and snap that came with the room's ambience. The second thing I realized was the hand gently shaking my shoulder awake.
Wake up, sleepyhead.
I stirred, yawning as I sat up in bed. Michael beamed, hand still on my shoulder.
Oh, also, side note.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is the beginning of day 3, so it
Day
definitely
3.
doesn't tell you day 3, day 2.
No. We just have to go off when we sleep and wake up. Yeah, see, my brain was so confused because I was like, I don't know what day we are on anymore. Everything's a blur.
Yeah, so now confirmation this is day 3.
This is day 3. Yeah.
There you are. Had a good sleep?
I mumbled incoherently. His smile widened into a grin as I blinked myself out of my woozy state. If I didn't know any better, he seemed to enjoy waking me up in the morning just to see my disgruntled expressions.
Breakfast is ready. Wash up and meet me in the kitchen, all right?
Uh, Give me a second. He took that as my assent, humming his response. Suddenly, his hand reached up to ruffle my hair, messing up my bed head further. That is so cute. I am such a freaking sucker for head pats and head ruffles. I don't know, okay? I don't know what it is. It just always gets me. Hey. He merely laughed at my indignant squawk before reminding me once more to get up, his steps already thudding towards the kitchen. Recovering after a moment, I stared at the wall and pondered my situation for a second as I made my way to the bathroom. This was the third day. Oh, see? Yep, there we go.
Thank you.
This was the third day since I've left my house. I'm missing work, missing my cat, and missing my sense of direction. Gotta get back to my life. Today. Quietly reminding myself of my goal, I padded to the bathroom, freshened up, and joined him in the kitchen. Michael was already seated, cutting into some pancakes. His smile was bright as I entered the kitchen, his tail flicking closer to my seat as I sat down. Oh, more food, man. This game, you know how it's like a dating sim, you know, that kind of thing. I feel like it should be a get you hungry sim because that's what it does to me every time. Oh, gosh. A similar stack of mouth-watering pancakes was placed across him, waiting for me to dig in. Though I couldn't bring myself to muster up an appetite with so many thoughts filling up my head. He seemed to notice the look on my face, laughing nervously.
You look serious. Something on your mind, Firefly?
I picked up my fork, twiddling with it. I'm just worried about getting home. Michael faltered as he lifted a piece to his mouth.
Oh, you're still thinking about that.
He seemed annoyed, which was a first. Of course. I've been gone for 3 days. People probably think I've gone missing. His gaze lowered, almost grumbling.
Is that so bad?
What? Yeah, it's bad. Why do you sound like you don't even care? Michael frowned, looking up at me now.
Why do you sound like you're desperate to leave?
Are we gonna get a bad end here? I'm scared, girl. This is feeling kind of bad endy.
We've done nothing but be good.
I mean, that has not saved us in other games before. What?
It's all you ever think about. Are you not happy here? Is it not enough?
I sighed, rubbing my fingers over my eyes. Michael, we've gone over this. I've said it once and I'll say it again. You've done so much for me already. But I can't keep pretending everything's okay here. I want to go home. I need to go home. He sucked in a deep breath, grunting something indecipherable under his breath.
I only wanted to...
He seemed to be battling himself before he finally sighed.
I'm sorry. You're right. Of course, you're right.
His tone seemed genuine, even if the hurt in his eyes was clear as day.
I'll send you back today.
I narrowed my eyes.
I mean it this time. I promise.
He held his hand over his chest.
Where on my heart?
I mean, I'm going to trust him. Yeah.
I'm going to trust him too.
I mean, how could I not trust him? He was my last hope. Okay. I paused for a moment before adding quickly, "Thank you." He nodded and went back to eating, watching me expectantly as he took a timid bite. It was a moment before he swallowed and he spoke up again.
Can you promise me something?
His voice was quiet and, for lack of a better word, vulnerable. What is it?
Promise me...
His mouth hung open for a second or two before he laughed.
Promise me you weren't lying when you said you liked my cooking.
That is totally not what he was going to say. Oh,
I think he was going to say, promise me you'll come back.
yeah, I think the same. I snorted. Are you kidding? Do I look like the kind of person to lie? I'm offended, Michael. He laughed again, light and airy. But if I dared to look closer, I could tell it was fake. He probably didn't want to make our last moments tense and awkward. The least I could do was meet him halfway. Before long, we found ourselves walking down another path from Michael's. The route was different today, probably because he didn't have any detours in mind. We walked in silence for a while. The only thing accompanying us were the sounds of nature and our footsteps. I couldn't tell what Michael was thinking. I knew he wasn't the talkative type unless spoken to, but right now he seemed eerily quiet. His back was tense, eyes looking nowhere but forward. His voice was itching to say something. Hold on. This is driving me crazy again. I don't know how loud it is for you, but the sound
Not
of
loud.
the footsteps are so loud in my ear. Okay.
Right.
My voice was itching to say something, anything. But it felt like the both of us had some thoughts to digest, despite it being easier to just say it out loud. Still, the silence was getting unbearable. So, we both halted in our steps at the sound of rustling, Michael's ear perking in a direction. What was that? His hands were already raising to hold his crossbow, deftly cocking it with an experienced pull of the string until a solid click was heard.
Be quiet. Stay close.
I swallowed, my heart picking up speed. He started stalking low towards the source of the noise, his boots barely making a sound compared to my clumsy footsteps. The rustling continued, sounding like a scuffle was occurring between the bushes. Closer. Closer. Until my ears picked up an unfamiliar high-pitched sound. It sounded like a tiny infant screaming. As morbid as that was, Michael actually relaxed as he recognized it. His steps hastened silently towards the source, crossbow lowering until we came across what exactly it was that caused the disturbance. Oh no! Rabbit! Oh, baby! A rabbit. Its small, delicate foot snagged in an old, rusted trap. Its little body trembled as it breathed fast and shallow, no doubt scared out of its mind. Michael regarded it empathetically before unloading his crossbow, disturbed by the caught rabbit, but at the same time relieved at the absence of a threat.
Just a rabbit.
Sweeping his crossbow behind his back and out of sight, he looked at it for another moment before looking up towards me.
Let's keep going then.
What about the rabbit? My mouth dropped in shock. And leave that poor thing behind? He raised a brow, confused at my bewilderment.
Yes?
But it's going to die. His face twisted into confusion.
That's generally what happens to prey animals, yes.
He was so nonchalant about it, I had to keep my emotions in check. We can't do that. Look at it. His expression was understanding, if a little annoyed.
I am. Someone left a trap. A rabbit gets caught in it.
I don't know
I'm a
if...
little annoyed with you, Michael.
Yeah, I'm a little annoyed. Hold on, I'm gonna have another brownie thing. Oh my god, it's hot. Oh, my mouth.
Like, it'd be different if we found them, unfortunately, dead from, like, something that eats rabbits, not caught in a trap by a human.
Yeah.
And then he could say circle of life because he's prey or whatever, but this is different. That's how it works. What do you want me to do?
Set it free? Obviously? He was frowning now.
I can't. If someone's nearby, they'll be suspicious how their caught got free.
Does that matter? Animals escape traps all the time.
That's true.
The poor thing is suffering.
Boofus, I know you're smarter than this.
I'm too emotional for this. I love Michael, but this is pissing me off. I'm just too emotional for this. I can't handle this.
I also don't like how he's speaking to us. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Even though I'm doing the speaking. If it doesn't die today, it'll die tomorrow. To trap, to a fox, to a hunter. It probably won't even survive long with its injured foot if we set it free. Then you take the rabbit. I take it. We're prolonging the inevitable.
Can't you put it out of its misery then? He hesitated. I'm sorry. I'm speechless because my brain is just kind of like, this is still, you could still save that rabbit. You could bring it to like a rehab center, you know, like for animals. You could like, I don't know. Am I crazy? Am I the crazy
It's
one
just
here?
like Boofus is going home back to the like humans. She could take the rabbit. I don't know.
Like, I get it's a wild animal, and like, I understand she can't keep it as a pet. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But like, you could still help it. Like, oh my god, I don't know. I'm like I said, I'm too emotional for this. My heart is just ugh.
Do you really want me to do that?
No.
No.
No. But even then, we don't even know if anyone's coming back for it. The thing looks so old. He sighed impatiently, looking stubborn in his decision.
That's the point of a trap. It's to keep things right where they are until you come back.
Oh, like you trapped us in your house? Oh, shots fired. Sorry, I'm really mad.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand his perspective because I think that Michael probably had to live quite like detached from emotions and stuff because he's gone through a lot, and obviously people have given him like, you know, a really bad, I don't know, life, I guess. But it still hurts, you know, like.
I'm also under the impression that, well, he hunts, so I don't know if he hunts rabbits, but I know some people eat rabbit meat. So I don't know. Maybe to him, it's just like, yeah, it's normal.
I'm not too thrilled about this choice because I feel like I don't think he's being sadistic because again, being sadistic would mean he enjoys others suffering. I don't think that's the case. But I don't know. I'm so frustrated. I feel like I guess we have to go with the top one, but I'm just sad. I'm really sad now.
We're
Like,
going with the top one, but neither me nor Evie actually do agree that he's being realistic.
I
We
think
just think definitely the bottom one's the more negative one.
I think he's being realistic in the sense of he's learned to sort of be like, this is nature, yada yada. But I don't like it in the sense of, because I do think you could still somehow help the rat. I don't know. Okay, I don't know. I'm sad. uh, in a way, his logic made sense, but still, I could hardly believe how needlessly callous he was being. For someone so sweet with his hens, he was so indifferent about the poor rabbit shaking at our feet. I looked down at it once more, my heart breaking as it started to squeak. Oh, don't describe this. I'm literally gonna cry. Like, I
But
just.
don't do it.
Michael. Oh my god. I-
Please. Okay?
Let's do it. My heart was torn as the rabbit helplessly kicked at its feet, its cries weakening. For a moment, I imagined Boop being caught in a trap just like this one, left to starve and die when someone could have been there to help him. No, we can't leave it like this. Please, Michael. His harsh gaze started to soften at my plea.
Does it matter to you? Does it matter that much to you, Firefly?
I nodded quickly without hesitation. Please. It'll be the last time I'll ever ask for anything. He paused for another moment before shaking his head with a defeated sigh.
Somehow I doubt it's the last time.
There was a smile in his voice, though.
But all right. There's no smile there from what I see. I'll do it for you. Stand back. I have to pry it open.
My gratitude was clear from my face. My gratitude was clear on my face as he pulled out a deadly-looking hunting knife from his pocket, kneeling down next to the rabbit. The terrified creature started to writhe all over again at the sign of a looming threat, Michael grunting as he held it down firmly with one hand. It started to fall still under his hold, relaxing completely with its foot hanging limp. Huh. He sure had a way with animals. I backed away to give him space, not wanting to distract him. As he was working to free the rabbit, I looked around to take in my surroundings. The trees felt somewhat familiar, a flash of a memory playing in my mind. Casting one last glance towards Michael's back, I wandered a bit further away, making sure to stay within earshot. It took a few steps before I came across a familiar sight. Oh, it was the circle of mushrooms from the other day. I recalled that Boop was definitely here. I hesitated at the edge of it, a sourceless sense of fear suddenly coursing through me as I stared at it. Had it grown bigger? The longer I stood there, the more the fear dissipated, my limbs tingling pleasantly and urging me forward. Before I realized it, my foot was already lifting to approach it. Closer. Closer. Staring at it, a fuzzy haze creeped over my mind. My face was warm. I found myself smiling at the oddly comforting familiarity, like recalling a fond memory, like greeting an old friend. I knelt down to inspect the growth, reaching out to brush my hand on one of the mushroom caps, when someone yanked my wrist back. What?
Don't.
Huh?
Don't touch those.
I looked up to see Michael looming over me, gaze sharp and irises shaped like thin slivers.
You have a terrible habit of wandering off, don't you?
I gulped. How is the rabbit? Is it safe? His eyes narrowed as I flailed to change the subject.
Free like you asked. Don't touch those.
Michael squeezed my wrist before letting go. I rubbed my wrist. It didn't hurt, but his grip had intent. Well, why? What's wrong with them?
Nothing. Just don't touch them.
I just thought looked pretty, that's all.
Did you, though?
I shook my head, feeling disoriented as my mind flickered between thoughts rapidly like a broken radio station. Michael snapped his fingers for my attention.
Look at me, Firefly.
His voice was snippy and irritated. I blinked rapidly to ground myself, scratching my head as I tried to gather my thoughts.
Talk to me. Say anything.
Some people think they're magic. Yeah, that's a pretty common belief with mushroom rings, isn't it? I hung on to that thought.
Keep going.
Well, I related to fae folk, you know? It's why they're called fairy rings or a fairy circle. Michael squinted before easing, his demeanor just a little less tense compared to before. They do look like they could summon a portal at any moment and whisk you away. I looked over at Michael, expecting him to look amused. Instead, he was glaring down at the ground as if the mushrooms were the most vile thing he'd ever seen.
No. It's more of an invasive species than anything else.
I followed his gaze towards the harmless circle of fungus. They are? Should we do something about it? He blinked as if coming out of a daze.
Uh, no. Sorry, just, a thought that slipped out.
He pinched his nose bridge, his normally soft voice a tired grumble.
Normally I'd leave them alone to do their business, but having you here... Anyways, just don't touch it, okay?
He's... This whole third day has been really stressful
It,
for
I feel
both of
like
us.
we got whiplash. Michael's being a little bit different. I'm assuming he's just frustrated with things that he's not telling us, which makes me frustrated because it's like, look, I get that you're trying to protect us, but if you want me to trust you and like you need to be honest with me.
So, I think Boop's gone, as sad as that is. I think the mushrooms have something to do with it. I think he's keeping it from us. But I mean, I think that's obvious with how often he avoids the subject. And I think, like I said, I think a few things at play here are that Michael had to sort of learn to live a certain way, and he's not as like emotional about certain things because this is just life for him. Whereas for us, it's like, oh my god, like um,
That's why when we started to get near the mushrooms, she kind of said that she had like a crippling unease. And for a moment, because this was the last place that she found Boop's collar, I started to freak out because of the rabbit thing. And I was like, don't find Boop. Like, I am understanding that Boop is probably gone as well, but oh man, I don't want to see it.
he was being far too uptight about something as trivial as a circle of mushrooms. It feels like there's more to it than that. His sigh was exasperated.
They just grew up in my part of the forest, is all. They make me uncomfortable.
It definitely felt like Michael wanted to use a stronger word than uncomfortable, a barely concealed growl between his teeth. Why? I thought you liked mushrooms. Michael's ears flattened.
These ones. They're not even real mushrooms.
They're not?
No,
He seemed to hesitate before blurting.
they just happen to mimic mushrooms.
Oh, I've never heard of something like that. Though there are some pretty wild foliage out there that could copy the look of nearby plants. Does it have a name? His brow scrunched in confusion.
What? Them?
Yeah, you know, as in the species.
Oh. Uh, I'm not entirely sure. I can recognize them by sight, though, so just stick with me when you're out in the woods, okay? I really don't want you to. I really don't want you anywhere near them.
All right, if you say so. I just don't get how they can be invasive, is all.
Consider it invasive when they come on my property.
Is he really getting this angry over cute mushrooms? I mean, obviously, Boofus doesn't know, but the mushrooms are clearly evil because they keep messing with us, so.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be honest, you're acting really weird about it, Michael. He was getting more. We're just pissing him off.
I know, I don't like it.
He was getting more agitated the longer we stood there, hands clenching into tiny. Not tiny. He was getting more agitated the longer we stood there, hands clenching into tight fists.
Rufus, I know I ask a lot from you, but please, let's just leave them alone, okay?
Why are we pushing this issue? If I see, I know she doesn't realize what's happening, but if somebody who grew up in the forest and knew the forest told me, "Don't touch that," I'd be like, "Okay." Just like,
Well, like, for me, I'd be the type, okay, walk away and then ask questions like, but what's wrong with them? Like, I do want to know what's going on, especially because I can clearly see it bothers him so much and he's being weird about it. So I want to know what's going on.
I don't
Um,
know. I see, the thing is, because it's mushrooms, my brain would just kind of be like, maybe they're poisonous. You know what I mean? Like, my brain would just be like, okay, you said I shouldn't touch them. Cool. I think my brain would just be like, okay. I don't know.
okay.
And him getting this upset, my brain would just be like, okay, he's probably upset because I could have, like, hurt myself, or I don't know. Like, my brain would just be like, okay, I don't know. Maybe I'm an overthinker, don't get me wrong, but this is something that my brain would just be like, just accept. You know? Like, why? There's something you're not oh my god.
Look, can we just
I'm sorry, my heart.
jump scare?
Yeah. I'm too old for this, Michael. I flinched, backing away from him as his voice rang through the trees. Oh, he's probably like shouted at us.
Yeah, I mean, that was a big,
Mm.
bolded shout, so
A
I don't
silence.
like shouty people, Mike.
No, bad Michael. I. A silence passed between us before he took a breath.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, can we step away from here?
He held out his hand. His fingers were trembling. I mean, I will take them because, again, I don't think he's doing it to upset us, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's I kind of mad at us as in the player, and I'm mad at him. I'm mad at him because I know that he's scared because he's obviously, he's never had a friend and all that. But I think a bit of honesty could really help this relationship, friendship, romantic, whatever it is. It could really help. I'm mad at us, the player, because again, in my head, I understand he's being weird, but I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just harping on this, but to me, if someone knew the wilderness way better than me, and they said to me that's not safe, I would just accept it. I don't know, maybe that's crazy, but my mind would just be like, okay, the rabbit thing, fair enough, like that really tripped me up, but this, I would just, I don't know. I would just be
Yeah,
like,
like the rabbit thing, I was ready to argue all day, every day. But right now, it was more like, okay, but I'm curious, but okay.
yeah, I
Right now,
just,
I'm mad at him just because he's been very snippy and annoying and yelling, and I don't like that. But yeah, I'll take his hand.
sorry, I just love the shift. To be fair, I think he's like that because he's very protective of us, and clearly I mean, that doesn't excuse it. Again, it's really hard to talk about this stuff because it makes it sound, it's very easy to make it sound like I'm excusing it. I'm not, it's more of an explanation of what's going on. But again,
Yeah.
communication here would really help on both ends. Like, let's take his hand. I closed my hand around his, noting the way his tail flicked so hard it thumped against his leg. His fingers were calloused against my own, twitching at the unfamiliar sensation. I stepped up beside him, looking at him expectantly.
Uh, oh, I, I, I didn't think you'd take it.
Now it was my turn to get flustered. You offered!
I know I did. I thought I scared you, so I figured.
We waited for the other to say something, our faces growing heated as seconds passed. He finally laughed, exclaiming something strange and garbled before squeezing my hand.
Rufus, you're really something special. I hope you realize that.
He gave my hand another tight squeeze, snapping me out of my daydream.
Let's get you home, Firefly.
Michael took the lead, his footing sure and confident. He must have noticed my unsteady gait beside him as he subtly veered towards a clearer path I could easily follow. I didn't verbalize it, but I was definitely grateful for that. As much as the forest was growing on me, getting my feet caught in roots and twigs every few steps gets tiring after a while. Our steps fell into rhythm next to each other. I peeked at Michael every once in a while, trying to gauge his mood after what happened. Even after spending so much time with him, he was so difficult to read. How can someone both wear their heart on their sleeve yet keep it stitched tight, never letting anyone come too close? I knew he had secrets he wanted to keep close to his chest, but I wished he'd open up just a little. What? But I wished he'd just open up to me a little. The silence that hung in the air was making my skin prickle. What's your favorite animal? I was so caught up in my thoughts, I didn't even realize I blurted the first thing that came to mind. Michael regarded me curiously, ear flicking.
My favorite animal?
He pursed his lips in thought before his ears perked.
Jellyfish.
I did a double take. It was one thing for him to have an answer so readily, but the choice was something else. A jelly? Why a jellyfish? I thought it'd be, I don't know, a bird or something. He shrugged.
They're pretty to look at least from pictures I've seen. Plus, I kind of relate to them.
He said that with zero hesitation. How exactly do you relate to jellyfish? His expression faltered as if deciding on the right way he could explain his answer.
Let's just say I have something in common.
With a jellyfish.
Well, one jellyfish.
In what way? That they're pretty to look at? A strangled noise slipped past his throat.
Oh. You wouldn't get it.
Try me.
No.
I groaned like a dying whale in expiration. Ooh. Shoulders slumped like I had a back problem. He's not gonna elaborate anymore, is he? He probably spotted the vein growing on my forehead as he snickered.
Relax, Firefly. You're gonna faint on the spot if you think any harder.
See, I'm thinking hard now. I feel like I'm gonna have to look up a bunch of jellyfish now to find something that could be in common with it. If you're allowed to get upset about mushrooms, I'm allowed to get upset about jellyfish. His smile dropped for a second before his cheeky grin returned.
Touch.
Touch? Touch what?
You know, touch.
I stared at him, his happy grin shifting into a confused frown.
You know, touch. When, it's like saying you're right.
Oh, he means touche.
He means touche.
You mean touche? He smiled innocently.
Yeah.
This man will be the death of me. He laughed at my screwed up grimace, waving a hand hastily.
What about you? What's your favorite animal?
Kitty cats.
Cats.
Oh, that would be a cute answer, but no, it's kitty cats.
Sorry. Cats every day of the week.
He snorted, a fond smile on his lips.
You know what? I don't even know why I bothered asking.
I mean, yeah.
Of course it's cats.
What's that supposed to mean? He gave me a look.
You know what I mean.
Ugh. Yeah, I know what you mean. He pretty much giggled in response. We continued with idle chatter after that. I didn't even know how much time had passed as the trees slowly thinned out, the sounds of nature muffling as the canopy started to grow scarce. Suddenly, I heard the soft yet familiar rumble of a car in the distance. Suddenly, I heard the soft yet familiar rumble of a car in the distance. I almost didn't pick up on it, fully immersed in whatever Michael was rambling about. Something about the life cycle of topsy-turvy Dorney or whatever it was he called it. Oh! Had we really walked that far already? I left Michael's side and rushed forward. He made a sound of surprise but followed suit. I neared the edge of the forest just as another car drove past. I recognized my street instantly. Breaking into a light jog, I almost missed Michael calling for my name as I run down the road. There! My house was visible from where I stood by the street. I was breathing heavily by the time Michael approached my side, the man barely making a sound as I took in the sight. Oh, I missed this. I turned to thank Michael, only to startle when a bundled stranger took his place. Oh my god, that's so cute!
Right. I was wondering how he goes out, so.
Yeah, now we've got our answer. Look, his ears are tucked away as well. Ah,
Sorry. People about.
I couldn't see anyone around, but I guess he was right to be safe. I guess this was his version of a disguise. If I were to pass him on the street, I don't think I would have bothered to look twice. I mean, I want to say thank you to your face, but I'll set her. Oh, reread. I mean, I want to say thank you to your face, but I'll settle for this, I guess. His chuckle was muffled underneath the scarf. He pulled it down so he could speak properly.
Did I scare you?
I got distracted. Michael's eyes squinted from where I could see them.
And I wonder how you don't get lost every 20 steps.
Hey. He laughed at my offended tone.
You better not go back in there, got it? I'm not always going to be around to find you.
Who says I need you? Wait. Who says I need you around to find me? Almost instantly, his eyes hardened under his sunglasses.
I'm serious. Don't go wandering in the woods again. Or I might have to start taking drastic measures just to make sure you stay put right where you are.
Ooh, we're in trouble. I sputtered indignantly. I'll wander where I please.
Sure.
He looked over my shoulder towards my house.
So that's where you live, huh? Looks cozy.
I wasn't sure if he was being genuine considering he lived in the wooden back ends of the middle of nowhere. Suddenly I perked up with a thought. I don't know, my brain misread this so hard.
Right.
Do you want to come by? His eyes darted towards me, shock evident on his face. Yes, let's invite him. I want to see what shenanigans we get up to.
I was just thinking the same thing. I'm like, I mean, he let us into his home. We could invite him into ours for a day.
Yeah.
Me? To your home?
I nodded. He froze completely. For a second, I thought he stopped breathing.
I'd love to.
Sudden barking and shout startled us both, my body jerking forward as his arm yanked me close. I heard a soft rustle as his sunglasses fell to the grass from the sudden motion, his hastily worn beanie shaken.
Ooh.
Girl, I can't read. I heard a soft rustle as his sunglasses fell to the grass from the sudden motion, his hastily worn beanie shaken off his head. Looking up, it was just my neighbor calling out to their dog. Oh, looks like Vita's back from college. I paused, feeling his grip tighten. I looked down at his hand on my shoulder before glancing up at him. Michael? He snapped back to the present, his hand releasing me quickly.
Sorry.
He looked towards my neighbor and their dog for another moment before turning back to me.
I don't think it's a good idea for me to go with you.
Aw, but it's so fun.
I don't want to be seen.
I deflated just a little. But you have your disguise, don't you? He shook his head insistently.
I can't risk it. It's better this way.
He spoke with a finality that was starting to become familiar. If he wasn't willing, fine. At least I was. Before he could pick up his accessories, I gently grabbed his wrist. Then can I come visit you instead?
What?
I huffed impatiently. If you won't come to mine, then I'll go to yours. Once again, he was rendered speechless.
Why would you ever want to see me again?
At this point, I was starting to look and sound peeved. For all his good traits, the constant need to build his walls higher around me was starting to get annoying. I folded my arms, looking stern. His eyes widened as if in preparation, ears flattening like a cat in the middle of a scolding. Michael, can you just accept the fact that maybe I enjoy your company and wouldn't mind more?
I'm sorry. Nobody's ever. But you wanted to go home so badly.
Oh, this man is hopeless. Yes, of course I do. But that doesn't mean I'm going to forget about you completely. Besides, I promised I'd show you what phones could do, didn't I? Dismissing the fact that there's probably not much I can show you when there's no data in the woods. I'm sure he'd be enthralled by whatever dinky mobile game I had installed at the time. The Point was, I just wanted to see him again.
So that means I get to see you again?
I picked up on the eager tone in his voice, realizing he wished for the same sentiment. Yeah, I want to. His voice warbled for a second.
But Firefly...
He cleared his throat, laughing to himself.
Rufus, you can't imagine how much that means to me. A lot. It means a lot.
Oops, sorry.
More than you know. I got it.
That was me that time. I nodded, a giddy smile creeping onto my face. How's next weekend? He tilted his head.
That's 7 sundowns from now?
5. His smile widened, eyes squinting in absolute delight.
Okay. I'll meet you here then.
I smiled at him, figuring this was goodbye. Oh my gosh, yes. I mean,
Hugs?
I want a hug. Oh, this is so cute. This is so cute. See, I needed the cuteness because when it gets too serious, my heart gets sad. I didn't think twice, arms spread and wrapped around him before he could react. Michael froze from head to toe, inhaling sharply as his shoulders tensed. What am I looking at? So this is...
I think we're looking at his perspective, so he's looking at the top of our head.
Oh my gosh, we're so tiny. That's adorable. Did I read this? You know what? I'm just going to read it again. Oh, did I? For a second, I thought I triggered a fight or flight or freeze response. Oh, you know what? I appreciate... Sorry, this is again me going on a little tangent. I appreciate them mentioning freeze because people always say fight or flight. I experience freeze really bad, so I appreciate that. I took a few seconds...
Ah, he's purring.
Is he? Oh, he is! I didn't pick up on that. Oh, it's so cute! I'm so sad, though. I'm sorry, but we're almost done with day 3. I'm gonna cry, man. I just want to play more. It took a few seconds before he shifted to reciprocate, lightly pacing his hands... Nope, that's not right. It took a few seconds before he shifted to reciprocate, lightly placing his hands on the small of my back in a loose hold, fingertips splayed awkwardly along my spine. He seemed to gain confidence as he wrapped his arms around me properly, a shaky sigh leaving his body as he relaxed. A faint, rhythmic rumble emitted from his chest, his eyes widening at the strange feeling. Was he purring? I knew I'd heard that sound before, but he was definitely purring. I didn't have time to dwell on it for long. His grip was getting tighter. Uh-oh. Tighter. Tighter. Oh, we're gonna die. Oh. I couldn't read it because I went that fast, but I think it said something about how we were about to protest.
Right.
When another car passing by made him jump and release me. I had to step away to catch my breath after the squeeze. His arms dropped to his side with a blank stare in my direction.
Oh.
Out of the corner of my eye, I could see his hands clenching tightly as if holding himself back. Oh, he probably wants to hug again. That's really cute. This whole scene is adorable. I looked up at him, expecting him to say something first. Instead, he just stared at me like I grew a third eye. I quickly cleared my throat, cheeks starting to burn. Anyways. I gave him
Good on you, bucko.
I gave him one last light punch to the shoulder. It felt like punching a sack of grains. I'll see you next weekend. Ignoring the heat on my face, I looked both ways before jogging across the street. My neighbor in their yard looked up as I approached, their eyes lighting up in recognition.
I guess I'll be them. Boofus?
Oh my gosh, you're actually seeing me. This is so
Ooh.
Sorry. Gosh, my voice goes dog whistle sometimes. Their hands fidgeted with the frisbee in their hands as they approached, their ever loyal Laika following close behind.
I was wondering where you'd been. I dropped by to give you some cake over the weekend, but you weren't home, and you didn't answer your phone, and your packages were piling up at the door, and...
I held my hands up in a placating, right. I held my hands up in a placating gesture. Vita, I'm fine. At our feet, Leica was dutifully pawing at their elbow to calm them down. Their mouths stopped midway through another sentence, blinking rapidly.
Sorry.
They reached down to pat Leica's head, significantly calmer as they asked me. That's so cute. Their dog calmed them down. That's adorable.
Yeah.
Where were you? Where have you been?
I was, visiting a friend for a digital detox? Off the grid and all that. They blinked slowly, nodding.
Oh, that sounds exciting.
By the tone of their voice, they didn't mean it at all.
Oh, what about Boop? Did you manage to find them?
Aw, no poop. My mood instantly dropped. Me too, girl. No. That's why I went away in the first place, you could say. It took a few seconds for Vita to understand what I meant.
Oh. I'm sorry.
It's fine. They straightened, a flash of empathy on their face before they smiled.
Well, Leica and I are around for the semester break if you need anything. We should do a movie night. Maybe that'll lift your spirits. I found this really good one I think you'd like. I did some research and I feel like it's right up your alley.
It's cute. It looks like they're fidgeting really fast with the
Yeah.
frisbee. I love it.
Leica and I could take a quick drive to the store, so just let us know when you're up for it. I could get your favorite snacks and stuff.
Leica gave a happy bark at the familiar word. A fond smile quirked at my lips. Thank you, Vita. I'll bring the orange soda. Their expression lit up happily.
Take care.
I bid them both goodbye to walk up my driveway. Once I got to my door, I had the urge to turn around one last time. Oh, he's standing there. I was surprised to see Michael still standing by the forest edge, shadowed by the trees. Our eyes made contact, his own a fierce, piercing yellow shining against the shade. I gave him a big wave. It took a moment, but he waved back. Smiling to myself, I unlocked the front door and let myself inside. It was surreal standing in my doorway again. I felt like Alice who just woke up at the end of the book, feeling like I dreamed of Wonderland. I tossed my keys in my backpack by the hall carelessly before plugging my phone into the charger. I dreaded playing catch-up with the people who might have tried to reach me during my absence. Work, family, friends. I groaned aloud, flopping onto the living room couch. Ah, well, at least I had this weekend to look forward to. Heck yeah. Okay, that's all for day 3. I really want to play more, but we're all done
Yes,
now.
that's why I'm groaning, because I love it so much. And now that we're home, I really want to see how things progress from here. Even though I feel like we already know Boop's, like what's happened to Boop, I still want to find out more in regards to that. So just so many questions and everything.
I do like that we had some more cuteness, some serious tones for day 3 too. Makes sense, it can't always be cute, but I'm really intrigued to see what comes next. Huge kudos to the creator. Lovely game, great writing. I love the pacing. I love everything. Wanted to point out as well, I'm not entirely sure about this because I've only ever played mushroomoasis, but I'm pretty sure Vita is from another game that they made.
Ooh.
So we could potentially play some of their other games if you're up for it sometime. But yeah.
I'm going to check out the creator after we're done recording because I want to see what other games. I thought this was the only game they made, so
Nope,
curious.
I believe, again, I'm not entirely sure, but I think there's 2 others. I'll actually send it to you when we're done recording. But yeah, that's mushroomoasis, guys. I hope you guys loved it as much as me and Lucy did. I think it's fair to say we're absolutely obsessed. I'm glad I could pull Lucy in with my Michael obsession because, yeah.
If there are any other games that you guys are aware of, please go ahead and suggest them down in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we're gonna call it here.
Bye!
Bye!